the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
Can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.
And we are live. What's up, guys? We are here Friday night already, start of the weekend, and the end of a season. What season? Obviously the draft season, right? Regular season ends, we're down, man. But guess what? We don't have any time to reflect. We're straight into combine and straight into hiring a coaching staff, hiring a GM, cleaning house, offering buyouts. We're having top 30 visits. We are thinking about extensions on the horizon. We're offering fifth-year options. We're building a draft board. You get my point. Like, nonstop since, well, two different regimes, but nonstop since camp started, July. 10 months straight. Finally here, May. May is here. We can finally let the dust settle and figure out what the hell we are going to do moving forward. I think last weekend, honestly, and forgive me while I stall a little bit, got some buddies joining me. They'll be here. Gives me some time to get some of this off my chest anyway. But what was I saying? Hey, welcome. If you guys are here, hit the like button while you're here. Hopefully you guys like that theme song. I saw Chris jamming out. So was I in the back. Appreciate you guys joining on a Friday night. We had the draft last weekend, man. And that's what I was going to say. The draft showed me a lot. We did a stream, I think it was like 6 weeks ago. Do You Membu? That was a fun stream we did, and it actually played out. We did take Membu. You guys all saw that. After that, we did Is Clarity Coming for Jet Fans? Also, I think that panned out as well, and we'll get into that tonight. I think we got a lot more clarity based on these selections that were made. A lot of guys we got, honestly, the first 5 picks, and let me just bring them up for you guys because I'm sure you're all right. There you go. The first 5 picks to me, actually all the picks love contact, love hitting. And you might say, wait a minute, we have a burner wide receiver. What are you talking about? This guy has special teams in him. He's a gunner. He can do all kind of stuff. So everybody wants to hyper focus on the drops, but guess what? 20% drop rate last year, whatever. Like, that's 2 balls out of every 10 he's dropping. You know what I like to look at? Like, I like to think this guy is a downfield vertical threat, right? If he has a 20% drop rate, that's 8 balls out of every 10 that might be a touchdown. Dude has elite speed, 5th fastest at the combine. Actually, the difference between him and Matthew Golden, who is the fastest at the combine, that's the difference. In over 40 yards, that's the difference between him and Golden. He's that fast. Runs a 100-meter dash in 10.18 seconds. Yeah. 10 seconds, 100 meters. Crazy. Dude, you drop 2 balls out of 10. Honestly, in this offense, I don't think you're going to get a lot of targets anyway. But if you're telling me that they're going to be all downfield ropes and downfield strikes and just a few targets here and there, every other snap you don't get targeted, you're helping the other 10 guys because you're stretching the defensive secondary back, which is something coming into the draft that I thought was like priority 1. We needed a field stretching speed because we're going to be facing 8-man boxes if we don't. To get one on what, day 3? The drops, it'll sort itself out, man. But to just think it's a lemon pick because of a 20% drop rate, I wouldn't go that far. Especially if he's a gunner, if he's like, he might be our kick returner. He might. If you're telling me this guy gets Xavier Gibson out of here, drop all the balls you want. No, I won't go that far. But anyways, welcome in. We will get, I'm sure, back to all this stuff. I got MURPHH joining me. He should be here in minus 12 minutes. So stay tuned for that. We have a fellow creator coming in that honestly, the whole reason I started doing this in the first place was to talk to people that I'm not used to and to offer you guys a glimpse at people you don't always hear. Because I figure a lot of people watching my show also watch the same people quite often. And you get used to like the same voices, the same takes, the same points of view, the same angles. It's always nice to get an outside person who also loves this team, also creates, and also is building a channel to talk to you guys. And so the channel name is TheJetsWard, and I don't know, it might be Psych Ward. I mean, we're all close enough to that, right? I don't know. You'll have to ask him what the name means. Psych Ward, DayngerZone, kind of a fitting mixture. But I asked him to focus predominantly on rounds 2 through like 4 or 5 because I think we've all talked about Membu enough. Yeah, MURPHH. Did you check Discord, brother? Where it typically is. It's the one that ends in FAT, like a fatty that we wanted in a draft. It is in Discord. If you still need it, let me know. Not a big deal though. I'm just riffing, brother. But Crispy in bright and early. Actually, let me just do this. Show you guys off a little bit, especially to the Twitter folks who don't have the live chat unless I put it on screen. Their live chat is solely Twitter live chat, and not a lot of people like chatting there. So the only way they can see what you guys have to say is if I do this. So, well, they could always just come over and they could smash the like button, they could hit subscribe. Hey, they could call in on nights we have the call in line pinned. So that's why I don't have it up the entire stream. Maybe we'll get a few recruits that way. But Crispy, thanks for joining us. Hazel, I see in the house. Rich, welcome, brother. Always a pleasure seeing you three. Also have Jake in the house. Welcome, brother. He has some heartfelt things to say about the UDFAs, I believe. He says he's still butthurt we didn't get like Stackhouse, Watson, or Simmons in UDFA. I wanted my real big fat nose tech. Yeah, and I get that. We are gonna get into that. I want Murph's thoughts on all the DTs that we passed up on. Let me bring him out. He just popped in. I want to get his thoughts, and then we will get to our guest. Murph, what's up, dude?
What's going on? Hey, the link was like hidden, dude. It was like it looked like it was part of the post above it. So like to me, it did not look like a Restream link, okay? You gotta work on your linking.
Yeah, I get.
Oh.
Does that count as a sneaky link?
That was a sneaky link. Yeah. Might have a new one of those for me. How we doing tonight? I was listening a little bit as I was like fumbling through everything looking for that link. But yeah, draft, dude. We looked over the players a little bit now, and we're discussing some guys. Everybody's still a little butthurt about not getting a DT. I agree with that. You know, it does kind of suck, but you know, I'm kind of excited that one of our UDFAs, this fellow from WVU, he's the only DT we snatched up, and he looks like a freaking beast, man. And I'm just gonna sit here and be honest with you guys, like, wasn't super familiar with the guy, even though I do watch West Virginia football. But if you're a nose tackle, your name doesn't get called a whole lot. If it does, it's probably a bad thing. So we'll see how it goes. A lot of this stuff comes down to coaching anyway. Was Fatu Kasi a draft pick, or was he a UDFA? Do you know off the top of your head?
Fatu Kasi is not the same guy. Fatu Kasi we had a few years back. Folu Fatu Kasi. This guy is like Fatorma.
No. I'm asking about Fatu Kasi. He a draft pick? One of those stud nose tackles we had was a UDFA. I'm pretty sure. It might have
question. Fully Fatu Kasi, which I believe he's actually available right now.
I know. Why haven't we brought him back? Bring him home.
Facts. 6th round 2018.
Okay. So pretty late, but not what I was thinking.
And I will say, I think the 3rd round was like the perfect spot to take a DT. However, after we took Mason Taylor and before we took AZ Thomas, like 6 of them went, dude. They were just like bam, 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 bam. So like, do you take your 7th one then? And we'll get into the AZ Thomas stuff. Actually, a guy that, and that's why I wanted to do this tonight, especially. Like, last week was our instant reaction. And my instant reaction to AZ Thomas was not great, okay? It wasn't. And you can go back and watch, guys. It's all still there. But, like, now, not only has it marinated, we slept on it, but also, like, we were learning. Like, to me, AZ Thomas was a lot like the Will McDonald pick for me. Will McDonald, I wasn't looking at because I did not expect it to be on our radar, and that's my fault, man. I told myself I would never let that happen again in the 1st round. It definitely happened to me when we took a corner in round 3. I had no idea anything about this kid, but since then, I am really excited about this kid. And like I said, we'll get into all that. We have a guest. Not only do we have one ready to go, chomping at the bit. I think we just bring him out. What about you, man?
Bring them out. Bring them out.
I like that. I like that, especially when.
Flag you just for saying that. Yeah. There it is. I like how you had that up.
Yeah, I can't leave it on too long, but I left it on just long enough. Chat's popping, man, and I appreciate you guys for being here again. Hit the like button. Check out down below in the description. You will have a blue hyperlink. Click on that bad boy, and you will arrive at this next guy's channel. He needs some love from us, just like we love doing, man. We are cross-pollinating, getting some of my audience on his page. Maybe in the future, me and Murph will go over there. We'll get some of his on ours. In the meantime, though, let's bring him out, like T.I. says. Without further ado, welcome, Ryan Ward. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk Jets with you guys. Gonna be a good one.
For sure, man. I don't know how much of that you heard. I'll give you a second if you want to chime in on anything we were talking about. One thing we were chomping at was us passing on defensive tackles. Do you maybe have some quick thoughts about that before we get into like each pick?
Oh yeah, I was not happy. I really wanted a defensive tackle. Deion Walker was the one I wanted in this draft. I thought he would have been a perfect one next to Q. I honestly thought the Jets were going to take him until the Bills traded up and right in front of us and took him. So I wasn't happy about that. Another player that I want that could have moved into defensive tackle and on the edge, like a John Franklin Myers type, was a Jared Ivey. I couldn't believe that he went undrafted and then ended up with the Seahawks. That was a shocker. Just passing on defensive tackle in general in one of the deepest classes there has been, it just didn't make sense. It just shows, in my opinion, that they have a lot of faith in Leonard Taylor. So I'm really hoping he has a break year, but overall, I was not happy with that defensive tackle.
That is a great point because like earlier today I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, we've brought up like us adding the naughty guy and how that's probably why we passed on it. But then like Leonard Taylor is another one. You got him, naughty, and like Murph said, the guy from WVU, like it doesn't take a whole hell of a lot to be a run stopping nose. So like hopefully one of those three guys can do it.
We also got another guy, Wharton, I think we signed in the offseason as well. And we signed another defensive tackle from Clemson in undrafted free agency. So he's one that I think can be a really good sneaky pick as well. So you guys were bringing up Fatorma Mulba from West Virginia. That guy, he's going to be good. I think he can be like a Leonard Taylor type that you fit in there and just give him rotational roles. And I think he can be good.
Arms on that fucker?
Oh my God, he's massive. He's a monster.
He's probably got 22s he's sporting. My God.
The guy's strong as hell, too. He bounced around, but he's not known for his pass rush. He basically did nothing in the pass rush game. But defense, as a run stopper, the guy was awesome. The one guy I wanted as an undrafted free agent was Desmond Watson. He was the guy I wanted as well for defensive tackle. He would have been just his story about being the largest player in the NFL. I thought that would have been fun. But Fatorma Mulba, I'm happy about. The kid from Clemson, I'm happy about. Just really excited to see Leonard Taylor as well. I think he's going to take a huge jump in this defense this year.
I love that. I love that. Let's get into it, man. I want to. I have a couple graphics I pulled that I want to show you guys. Not that it'll sway your. I mean, I guess that's the big thing I did want to talk about tonight because, like, a lot of the instant reactions, even the 1 and 2 day reactions to our draft was low. Like I feel like many of the fans crushed it as far as in a bad way, you know. But when you look at the opinions of the people in the know, much more favorable grades. So I do kind of want to. We don't have to spend a million minutes on each pick, but I do want to go through, you know, a few of our premium ones and get your guys' thoughts on it. But also, I did pull a graphic here I want to show. This is, someone did a spreadsheet of all the grades. Yeah, all the grades like Chad Reuter, NFL, there's PFF on here. And I just want people to be able to pause, screenshot this if they want, blah, blah, blah. But like, the main thing I wanted to show is that the Jets on here, out of like 20 experts, no grade lower than a B minus. So like, even I left last weekend's draft thinking, man, there was just so much more left on the bone. I guess I just want to reiterate that, like, could we have gotten some quote unquote better guys when we picked? Yes, probably. But I don't think Glenn and Muji would say the same. I think they got the right guys. And I think that's more important than what we think. Thoughts?
I would agree with that. Honestly, I think Muji and, well, especially Aaron Glenn, having a background in scouting already, I think he knew the type of players he wanted. These guys, if you talk about all of them, if you look at Detroit last year, they had receivers who could block. You might not be happy with Arian Smith, but he's a good blocker. And another thing that AG talked about, he wanted to build on speed. One of the fastest receivers in the draft. So you might not have liked the position, the spot he was picked at, but it makes a ton of sense when you're looking at the actual player and the things he can bring. He just needs to work on catching, and if he can do that, he can be like a Devontae Smith type player or a Mike Wallace or is one of those type of players who's a burner, in my opinion. And like a lot of people, right off the top when we drafted him, there were so many other players that you could have taken. Jalen Royals was still on the board. But honestly, it makes a ton of sense if you look at it. Just the spot was, in my opinion, too high.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, hey, it's weird. It's weird this year because normally it's the other way around. Normally, we come out of a draft and the fans, like, we're all super high on a lot of our players, and we're like, yeah, we're like at least a B plus and stuff like that, you know. And then like, I don't know, Mel Kiper or somebody grades it and they're like, yeah, like C minus or something, you know. Normally the media is a little harder on it than what we think, and now it's the opposite. Like, we were pretty harsh. I was thinking C plus, you know, and 11th best in the NFL is what they, you know, the average was for that. That's pretty wild. It's maybe it's a good thing, you know. Maybe they know more than we do. Hell, we're just fans anyway. We just like to drink beer and watch ball. But there's definitely some value in the draft. Like, I don't think there's too many people that are upset about at least our first two picks. If anything, those were important picks. Those are important positions to lock down, and we nailed them. In my opinion, I think we did. And then beyond that, anything to me was gravy. And you get a corner. I wasn't super high on him. I didn't really know a whole lot about him. I'm still not crazy about the pick, but there's a lot of people that are high on him that know ball better than I do. So I'm going to take their word for it. And I haven't gotten into the film on him yet. I was watching a little bit of Arian Smith earlier, but I didn't get around to AZ Thomas, but I will. There could be potential, and if there's a position that you trust Aaron Glenn to coach, that's it. So there's that. And then the Arian Smith thing, like, guys, like, I get it. Like, most people had him as like a 6th rounder, but like, you can't coach speed. Like, you can't make a player faster. You can't, you know. And so that was a trait that they desired, they wanted. And I know he had the 5th or 6th fastest 40 in shorts, you know, but the dude is an absolute track star. He probably is the fastest, you know. Maybe him or Maxwell Harrison are probably the 2 fastest dudes that came into the draft. So, and if you look at the film, dude, he's got dudes on their heels by the time the ball hits the quarterback's hands. Like, it's crazy. So
Facts.
There's some excitement here.
You know what?
Excited as fans.
And you know what I think is, I think Arian Smith, this roster as currently constructed, needed Arian Smith so bad that I think it makes him more valuable to us than someone else drafting in the 4th. Because, dude, no, and I've said it a million times, but even Garrett Wilson, I don't believe is an over-the-top winner downfield. Can he? Yes, but like to consistently push the safeties back, not really. I'm not a believer, and outside of that, there really is nobody else. So like, you can't just have 8-man boxes, especially against the running style we're about to employ, in my opinion. So like, we needed a burner. We didn't get one in free agency. We didn't get one in the first 2-3 rounds, and it's like, well, shit, who's left? And among who's left, at least they found a guy they visited with and semi believe in. And segueing right into it, like, let me just show you here. One thing they did prioritize is just raw athleticism. And I know we all know Raz, whatever, however you want to say it. But one thing you can glean from the whole class is that, like, out of all 32 NFL teams, our totality of picks averaged a higher RAS score than every other team except 4 or 5. We were like 5th or 6th highest combined average score. So like Glenn said it, Muji said it. We just don't always take what they say for face value, but they've said it. They want fast, physical players. And I think when they signed Stevens right off the bat, I think it, like I said it at the time, like, I don't even think it's about what you did yesterday. I think it's, do you fit the profile they want in the player? Do you have the measurables? And they're that confident in their coaching that they'll get you to where you need to be. I think they thought that with Stevens. I think they thought that with Cisco, who both had down 2024s. I think they thought that with both those guys, and I also think they think that with A.Z. Thomas, Arian Smith, Malachi Moore. I think is already coming in pretty polished, but like 6'2" corner, fast, physical, gimme. That's their motto, and like I said, with everybody giving us B's, B pluses, B minus, I don't think they're far off. What do you guys make of the RAS score? Do you like? Am I overstating it? Just what do you talk to me?
I think the RAS score is important. You want players who are athletic and everything, but the biggest thing, you want a football player. I don't care how fast you are, because A.Z. Thomas isn't the fastest cornerback. He actually had a really bad 40 at the combine, but in the game speed, he's always there. And that's what I want. I don't care how fast you run in shorts. I want you to be quick and physical on the field. And that's what AG wants. He got AZ because he's a great press man corner. I think he only let up 1 touchdown this past year. And honestly, he fits the type of defense that we're going to have. And AG is great with cornerbacks. Steve Wilkes, too. He used to be a DB in the league as well. And he is fantastic when it comes to coaching up DBs as well. And you're telling me that I have AZ for the future, Sauce Gardner. If Stevens does anything as well, we have a solid DB core for years to come, which I really, really like. And Malachi Moore, the cherry on top, that's really good too. And you saw there, he didn't have the highest RAS score, but the guy's a damn good football player. And he's probably he was a steal where we got
future leader of the defense.
Exactly.
I think that's what that entails right there. I do want to say, like, the A.Z. Thomas thing in college, yes, like he still kept up with everybody, but I worry in the pros because it's a different ballpark, man. This is a whole different level. I worry about it, but I'm going to trust in Aaron Glenn. I'm going to trust he does have some good traits. He is physical. He is the type of corner they're looking at. He's lanky, you know. And the other thing I just wanted to say real quick regarding him is he is not playing nickel, guys. Like, people want to say, like, oh, Steven Sauce, and he's going to, you know, Michael Carter's bound to get injured, so he's going to be the nickel. Or no. First of all, Michael Carter is a top 3 nickel in the league, hands down. Nobody's saying, like, I'm not saying that he's getting injured or he's not getting injured this year. He dealt with some stuff last year. He did what he could, but he could very well have a healthy year this year. And also, he's not even like that type of corner. Like he is so clearly a boundary corner. Az Thomas is. So like, let's just put a nail in that right now. He is not a nickel. He's not a slot corner.
Right. You know what? Baldy said it on the One Jets Drive podcast. I think he said it best. Like, in today's NFL, you need 4 good corners. You do. So, like, and that's people jump, oh, Stevens is going to move to safety. Did we not learn our lesson when we pulled in Josh Myers? Like, oh, Tippmann's going to guard, Vera Tucker to tackle. Muji said, no, we're just acquiring good guys. The rest will sort itself out. I think it's the same thing with Thomas, man. And plus, the NFL roster turns over in a year or two, man. It does. We gave Stevens 22-3 guaranteed million. That's 1 or 2 years, right? This guy, Az Thomas, he's here for 4 plus. So it gives him the year or two that Stevens is cemented in. That year or two, Az Thomas is learning, and then guess what? You can get a $12 million corner off your books, or you can restructure him. That should be the plan. Have him replace Stevens' salary. And that's a late day 2 pick. I'll take that. I will. One thing we're glossing over, I guess I kind of detoured us a little bit, but let's start at the top. What exactly did you guys think of when it came to right off the bat going to the trenches and drafting Armand Membu?
I thought it was solid. You give Justin Fields the best offensive line he's ever played behind. You're going to give him more time to read the field, and he's getting better at it every single year. You solidified that offensive line for years to come, and you got the best right tackle in the draft. So one of the most physical, great run blocker, but what's not being stated too, he was a great pass blocker as well in college. So you get 2-in-1 right here, and you solidify that offensive line, and you brought up Myers. That's competition for Tippmann, which I think will make him better in the end too. So I loved the Armand Membu pick.
You know, a lot of pundits believe he has the highest ceiling out of all the tackles that were drafted. But like, I had Membu and Warren like this. I leaned us taking Warren because honestly, I thought we were going to slide. And I thought if we slide, Membu wouldn't be an option anymore. But I thought Warren we could take anywhere from 7 to 11. So I kind of went that route. But they were like this. And I guess I'm glad we did it in the order we did. Because had we taken Warren, Connerly was gone. Simmons was gone at 32. Like, all the decent tackles were gone. But not only that, Membu is not a left tackle we're asking to play right. He's a right tackle. Take that, Mekhi Becton. He is a right tackle, and that's what we needed. Murph, you sounded off about the Membu pick last week, but I'm sure people were all over the place last week. Now our audience is here, back in the danger zone. Like and subscribe. Tell them one more time what you felt, maybe what you think now of the Membu pick at 7, especially since it was the very first pick from a new regime.
I love it. I love how they prioritized getting that line up front, getting the trenches solidified early on. That's what you want to do, man. You're building the foundation for the house. Like, you're eating your veggies, you're getting yourself in shape, you're building the foundation, baby. I love it, man. And like you said, it worked out perfectly. Like, he slots right in as a right tackle. He because that's what he's mostly played. And then also, if we hadn't gone that route and we had taken Tyler Warren in the beginning, we would have been screwed in the second round because the talent had a hell of a drop off by the time 73 rolls around. So it worked out perfect. You got to give Muji his props. He probably knew that's how the board was going to fall, based on the research of him and his scouts and league sources and things. So he did the right thing, and I'm elated about it because I don't know. Armand Membu sounds like a fucking badass like tackle name, doesn't it? Like, come on, guys. Like, I can get behind that, and hopefully Brees Hall and Braden Allen is going to get behind him too, and he's going to open up massive holes. So I'm all about it, dude.
Yeah, I like it, dude, because, and I don't know, it might not be the right thing to say about building the wall. Like, that's probably a little too political than we want to be on this channel. But I like the sentiment of just like forming this shield around Fields that, like, dude, that's how you make the whole team better. The whole offense. Like, that one choice is going to make everything that much I don't know, better, more efficient. You got more time to throw. You got more time to get open. You got more time to block. And I like that we followed it up with Taylor because I think that inline blocking for him is one of his skills. I think also he hasn't hit his ceiling. And the fact that he has bloodlines, it's got me a little bit geeked. Maybe I ought to just pass the mic right now before I just totally glaze over Mason Taylor. But talk to me, guys. What did you think about taking Membu, the Armand, the French guy is how I think of him because, come on, Armand. And following it up with the son of a Hall of Famer and the nephew of another Hall of Famer.
I honestly loved it. You had to do it. Your two biggest needs were tackle and tight end. This guy automatically becomes your starting tackle. And you look at a guy like Stone Smart, who's coming in as well, who can be your bigger slot as well, who's a solid receiver. He showed it at the end of the year last year with the Chargers. And Mason Taylor, he can block. He's a great receiver, and you know Justin Fields loves his tight ends already. I think it's a great compliment for Garrett Wilson as well. And we have Lazard too. I know a lot of fans are not a fan of his, but it helps him out too because now you have a big option at receiver, Garrett Wilson, who can beat you with his route running, and Mason Taylor, who's you send him down a seam, nobody's catching him, honestly, and he's tough as well to bring down. So I loved the two picks. You had to go tackle and tight end right off the bat. So I loved it.
Heck yeah. I think he's the type of tight end that we want too, because we didn't want like the Stone Smart. Like, actually, if this is, I'm not comparing these guys, but I'm just comparing the type of tight end. Like Stone Smart, like Colston Loveland was kind of like Stone Smart, right? Like the dude hasn't quite shown enough in the blocking game, but just, I don't want to say elite, but like he's a good route runner and he's good in the pass game, So, but Mason Taylor is he's a little bit of both, right? Like he can do it all. Of course, he needs to work on some things, right? Every tight end that comes in the league needs to work on things. It's one of the hardest positions to learn. But the guy's he's an excellent athlete. He's got the bloodline, like you said, and I think that there's something to be said there. Like I think that you can always, like, if you can text your uncle and be like, listen, how did you approach this when you were in the NFL? Like whatever the problem may be and stuff like that. And you can get feedback on those things and it just makes the transition process smoother, man. So yeah, he's got the athletic profile. He's got the bloodline. He's got the mentality. I'm all about it, man. I think that he's our starting tight end day one. And hopefully for the next 10 years, he's going to be that as well.
You know what? I watched every target and touch from him last year. And let me just say, man, the amount of yak that kid got was just crazy. I mean, he had 1,300 yards. So, like, there's going to be a lot of yak. But also, like, I just come away, when I watch him run, I'm thinking, this is a guy that isn't 100% fluid yet. I'm not saying it like it's a knock on him. I'm just saying it like he's that young and he's probably still growing. If not, he just finished growing. Like, he just looks a little. But I'll tell you one thing: we had Conklin last year, and I still have over there. Oh, shit. Still have his jersey over there, and I've waited for him to break out for like 3 years now. I trust that this guy will give me what I've been looking for with Conklin. Like, I feel like he has way better skill set than Conklin right off the bat, day one. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm geeking over him. I really am. A lot of people had him at a fringe first round. We got him at 42 or 43. Good pick. Good pick.
I honestly wouldn't have been shocked if the Chiefs got him at the end of the first round, because Travis Kelce, I don't know how long he has. It was either Harold Fainen I thought was going to go there, or Mason Taylor. And I thought Mason Taylor would have been a perfect fit for the Chiefs. But they did the right move going with Josh Simmons, who I was shocked fell that far.
They need a tackle, man. They do too. That was a good.
Their tackles are awful. They were so bad last year.
And Simmons is good. Like, that's a very good pick, good marriage. But man, could you imagine if they did get him to learn underneath Kelce? That would have been nasty. That would have. Oh, yeah. We did AZ Thomas. We did the first two. Chat's popping, man. You guys, like I said, thank you for joining us. Hit the like. If you're joining us late, check out the video description. Ryan has a Jets YouTube channel as well. He does a lot of shorts. He hits a lot of different NFL stuff as well, like breaking news you do a lot of, right?
Yeah, anything I see, I try to make comments on. Like, the Giants today signed Jackson Dart center as an undrafted free agent today. Nice. So that was an interesting one. But I try to hit on all NFL teams, but love hitting on my Jets because they're my love.
And again, the name of the channel is TheJetsWard, right?
JetsWard.
Perfect. So show him some love, guys. For real, for real. If you have questions you want us to hit before while we have Ryan on the channel, put them in the chat. We will get to them. We talked the big three. We talked even the receiver a little bit. Do any of you guys have any thoughts on what we did after that? After that, we took a pair of Kane defenders. Do any of you have any thoughts about those two guys? I know it's real late in the draft, so it's probably not worth spending too much time on, but just buy me some time. I'm going to scour the chat for some comments.
The picks make sense for position-wise. Linebacker, edge, they make sense. But Kobe King was on the board. Chris Paul Jr. was on the board. Guys who I thought really didn't deserve to fall that far, that I thought could have been really good. Mamagoa, I think, could be solid, but he's normally injured as well. So he's often injured, which is an issue. Barron is interesting. I thought he was a decent pick, but again, I was a big fan of Jared Ivey. I thought he would have come in and fit really well on this defense. The picks make sense, but I'm not going to lie. I wasn't too happy with the players that we ended up with.
Yeah. I wanted, by the way, we did kind of skip over Malachi Moore a little bit, and Dom C is not going to let us do that.
Good. No, I do want to talk about him, but go ahead on the Miami guys.
Yeah. So Malachi Moore, I kind of mentioned it earlier. That to me felt like that was a big culture pick. Like, that felt like Aaron Glenn sees this guy is like a potential leader on the back end of our defense, maybe 3 years later, or something, once he develops and we, I like the player. He was our lowest RAS score guy, but it's not like he's not athletic at all. I think that he can do well for himself. Yeah, I think that's looking at like 2-3 years down the road. Like, that's the future leader of our back end of our defense, and that's going to be Glenn's guy, I think.
Don't be shocked this year if our starting DBs are Cisco, Moore, AZ, and Gardner. honestly, because it's all about competition. If they're the best ones, they're going to be out there, and I wouldn't be shocked if there are starters at DB this year.
You know what? I don't care who it is. Just go, like, in July, I want you to win it. Like, honestly, call me old, but, like, I miss the days where we went to Cortland and, like, sequestered for camp, like, and just, like, go in, bloodbath. Whoever comes out can start for this team. That's a good point, though. Like, the only thing I would add with the Kane guys is, like, and maybe Dom can talk about this. I don't know how deep he's gotten into it or anyone who actually watches the Hurricanes, but, like, the fact that you took a pair of them, same side of the ball, coming out of the same defense late, makes me wonder, like, does something about their defense that they were running transition well into what Wilkes and Glenn are going to run? Because, like, to take two of them, you know, I just wonder. Like, I think there's more to it than what paper just tells us about the two guys. And maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I'm curious because, like, Wilkes, he likes a 4-3. Glenn, he likes a 3-4. I don't even know what we're going to run together. But I think it's safe to say we're going to be press man in the secondary. But as far as the front seven, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be one to watch, too. Daniel, you mentioned it. Dom mentioned it. I about skipped over my second favorite pick of the draft. Not my second favorite player, but second favorite pick. And that was Malachi Moore, man. And we got to chomp on the bit about him. Just right off the bat, I do have a nice little tweet here about him from Harrison Glazer. Does wonderful work over on X. He had a hell of a year at Bama. Hell of a year. 4 to 5 year starter, I believe. 4 to 5 year player. Just excellent character guy. Team captain. He wears a C on his chest. And we traded up to get him. We gave away a whole pick to move up to get him. And honestly, the only thing that soured that whole thing for me was I felt like you could have took Malachi Moore when we took Arian Smith, and then took Arian Smith the next slot down, and we would have had another 5th or 6th round pick. We would have never had to trade up. But maybe it only takes one other team to like Arian Smith, and maybe they somehow thought they had to take Arian Smith then. Whatever. I'm not going to get hung up on the value of it, but I'm just really happy about this kid. What do you guys think about the hard-hitting safety from Bama?
Oh, he was a steal. He should have never fallen that far. To me, he was a top 5 safety in this draft, top 3 maybe. Overall, he brings everything you want. He's everywhere around the ball. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty and tackle. He can blitz. He can cover. He's not bad at tackling. He can do everything. And he just seems like this would be the perfect defense with him. And having Andre Sisco next to him to cover any weakness that he has, I think teams would be terrified to throw on the Jets, especially if you have him and Sauce on the same side. With that, and then if you go into your nickel, Michael Carter, the second in the slot, the Jets are going to be tough to throw on. Honestly, we just need that pass rush, and the turnovers will come.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you, man. I think that I think he's a great prospect. I do disagree that I don't see him this year being our starter unless we have some injuries that cause that. I don't think they want to throw him into the fire right off the bat, although he is one of the more polished guys, I think, coming into our draft with our draft class. So I'm excited about him. I'm excited about the future of the team. I'm excited about him potentially becoming a leader of our defense, and I have no issues with that pick at all. Even the fact that we traded up to get him, I got no issues with it.
They got the player they wanted. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's all I care about, man. Just get your guys, one way or another.
I did hear that he's down in the box quite a bit, so I just want to reference that from Mother Effin Chew, who chimes in that we're not going to be able to stop the run. I don't. I gotta see it, man. I have to see it because I think when you change regimes and you change coaching staffs and like we're gonna be blitzing more. That's for sure. I think we're gonna be better, if not only from addition by subtraction. But again, some of it's probably blind faith. Maybe I should just let the card. I'm not gonna be one way or the other too much. Let's just play ball, man. But I don't think we have a gaping hole in the middle like some do.
No, I mean we picked up, dude. I'm telling you guys, if Naughty's healthy and he starts, the majority of the games this year, between the fact of having him and then JJ back is going to make a huge difference on our run defense. Missing Jermaine Johnson last year was huge for that, and then not having anybody beside Quinnen was pretty bad too. So I think the pairing of those two is going to help solidify. I'm not saying we're going to have a top 10 run defense in the league, but we're not going to be as abhorrent as we were last year, So I just don't. I think people, because of what they saw last year, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't watch it anymore." Like, relax, guys. Like, I think that Glenn and Muji kind of know what they're doing. They watched the film too last year. They saw how bad it was.
And another point too is a lot of Chiefs fans who I've talked about hated losing Naughty. They loved him. They thought he was solid last year. Another thing too, our defense was on the field a ton. We were doing a lot of 3-and-outs last year, even with Aaron Rodgers. It was a lot of 3-and-outs, which gets your defense gashed. And I understand the defensive line wasn't the strongest. Javon Kinlaw was not great at run defense, and neither was Clemens. But in this new scheme, we're going to be more aggressive, like you guys said. Quincy's going to be coming off the edge so much. And I think we're going to just being more aggressive can help stop the run attack. Because especially if we're up quick, which I think we can be with our new offense, I think the defense is gonna be a lot better this year. Probably not one of the tops, but I think a lot better than last year.
It's a good point too about ball control offense. Like honestly, going into last year, that's kind of what I really wanted that, where you just use Rodgers' intellect and spots. Did not play out that way at all. But I think we would have won more than 5 games had we approached it that way. But also we weren't successful with it early on either. And I think that had a little bit to do with Keith Carter and Tyron Smith and just a whole domino effect.
We abandoned it way too quick early in games when we went down. That was the biggest issue.
100%. But just fresh slate, new staff, a lot of the same guys. Just think of this, like bringing in Membu to complete the O-line makes not only your O-line have top 12 potential right off the bat, in my opinion, but the oldest guy on the line is 27. Crazy. Like, what other O-line is that young but also has that upside?
It's a good point. Like, we're going to have probably the youngest offensive line, and we're probably going to run a ton as well. Like, we went from bottom of the tier of running last year, probably to one of the top teams this year, especially with Justin Fields as a quarterback. So I'm liking it so far.
Let me get into one other thing. I mean, we hit a lot of draft stuff, and there are some comments I pinned that we can hit again, but one thing I don't want to miss is I want to show you guys this tweet and get your thoughts on it here. I'm not going to say a word. Just when you see this, what do you think?
Expected.
Sad.
Yeah, sad as well. But yeah,
I feel bad for the kid, honestly.
Look closer at it and tell me what you think.
It's not Jordan Travis, honestly.
Yeah. I was going to say, didn't he sign it as like 13?
Yeah,
I
think that's Martinez, honestly.
So the double whammy from NFL, man. Sad though.
I do this a lot of the time with getting the wrong players in the pictures, but in all honesty, when I saw the news, I I felt so bad for the kid because he's only 23, if that, and now his career's over. It sucks. Honestly.
Sad though. I mean, yes, it is Martinez. That I don't want that to take away from the first thing you guys said. And sad. It's very sad. Like,
And not to be like that guy, you know, like I do feel for Travis. I hope he finds himself a good career in the future and lives a long, happy life. But I'm also sad that we wasted a fucking pick on him last year
Oh
too.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm a little stingy with these picks because we don't hit on them that much. Like I'm a little sad about that pick. Rest in peace to that fucking pick.
Do you guys think the Jets knew that he was going to retire? And if so, do you think they should have taken a chance on a quarterback in this draft, or are you happy they didn't? Especially with Shador fallen so far.
There was no point in this quarterback draft class
Oh,
unless you were able to get Cam Ward. There was no point.
I'm the same. I think. I mean, you could have taken Will Howard, but like, in my opinion, I would have taken Milrow, but not where he went.
Mm-mm.
I would have toyed with it at 73, and I said this going into the draft. 73, 110, I would have been all over Milrow.
Oh yeah.
But I also knew that he was going to go in the top 50. Like, I knew that if the top three teams didn't take Shador, they would be taking a quarterback, and Milrow was one of the top on the list. So love Dart, or not Dart, love Milrow, liked Howard. After that, I'm with Murph.
I do want to say, poor Sammy boy. Everywhere he freaking goes,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh yeah, you're here,
God.
but there's also this guy here too."
You can never get a break.
He's like, "I just had a ridiculous season last year, and you still fucking whatever. Fine. Keep
I
bouncing
got
around.
I got a thorough question from the chat that I want to read. I did not already read it, which isn't always the case. This one I'm flying blind, so bear with me. I do know it's from WowWave, a friend of the channel. He asks us, with Muji and Glenn being hired late in the process, how much do you think it affected them during the draft? How much do you think they relied on the scouts? It's weird. Everyone we drafted was SEC. Now, go ahead, but I also have a graphic I want to show, and I think WildWave might have seen me when I put it up. Here, I'll load it, but just right off the bat, do any of you have any feelings when it comes to their narrow-minded scope of who they took?
Being hired late, I do think it affected a little bit, and the scouts that were already here, I think they relied on them a lot. I think the best move they did was having Spielman in here as well, trying to help them out, so to give another lens to it. But I do think it could have impacted them a decent amount getting in late and trying to scramble to get everything together.
And just to add what I was talking before, like, this is the map of who we took. If you notice, there's a pattern. It was all in one quarter of the country. Now, our board could have just worked out that way, but WildWave might have a point. What say you, Murph?
I don't know if I'm tinfoil enough for this. I don't know if I got the tinfoil hat on my head just yet, but I do like Ryan was saying, like, I do believe that when you get hired late in the process, you can only do so much with your big board. You can only do so much with your process. These scouts that are in the building aren't probably even going to be all the same scouts that are going to be there next year. So they were at a little bit of a disadvantage, but I'm going to say probably at least the first 3 or so rounds, they had their board built their way for at least that much of the draft or whatever. But at the end, there was probably some dart throws. I think Malachi Moore still being there, they're like, oh shit, we did like him. Let's trade up for him. But like, I think they trusted their guys towards the end a little more than maybe most teams do.
You know, the big fella is right on the money too. The SEC is the best conference in college football. So if you took 7 players out of the MAC, maybe we're having a different conversation, right? But yeah, he's got a point. Best conference, not a bad one to lean on. That's also our resident dart truther, Ryan. So if you have any thoughts on the dart selection, now is your time to air them out.
Jackson Dart was my favorite quarterback in the draft. Honestly, I think sitting behind Russell Wilson this year is going to be good for him. He was my favorite quarterback in the draft. I thought Cam Ward was good, but Dart, I think through the progressions of all year, he played top talent and he did well against them. I know the offense around him is not a pro style offense, and I get that, but his footwork got better. His arm is solid. He can read a defense, and he's best when getting out of the pocket as well. A lot of people say he's like a Zach Wilson. I don't. I see him more as Baker Mayfield in that type of style. And I think a year to sit will do him really well. And I think he ends up starting for the Giants next year and doing really, really well for them, especially if they get him another good receiver. They have Malik Neighbors. They got solid running backs for him. They got an okay offensive line now. And tight end is okay for them as well. I think he could do something. I think he can be really good in this league.
I think he has happy feet. I think you knock him around a little bit, he loses all of it. He's not there anymore. And you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks, to be fair.
Yeah.
But the best stay poised. Even when they're under the most pressure, they stay poised. And I don't see that out of him. But I could be wrong. I know they're putting him in a good position. Let him sit for a year or two behind, a couple of vet quarterbacks, and continue to build that team, that defensive line. Jesus. And they may end up being a contender. If Dart can hit, they could end up being a contender in a couple of years.
I did make a short today about Evan Neal being moved to guard. And I think that could be really good for him for the Giants, like an Eric Flowers situation, who was awful at tackle for the Giants for years. Then he went to the Washington football team at the time, moved him to guard, and he did really well and got a big contract from the Dolphins. Didn't pan out there, but that could be really good for him. Look what happened to Mekhi Becton with the Eagles. You move him to guard, and he's an all-pro guard.
Super Bowl winning Mekhi Becton.
Exactly. And don't forget, the Browns have Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett, too, to start for them.
Jesus Christ. If I hear that preceding Mekhi Becton's name one more time.
Yeah, I've been past.
You're right. You're right.
Every time he says the words Mekhi Becton, I'm just like, Super Bowl winning Mekhi Becton.
You got to give him his respect. He's got that Super Bowl ring now.
And he played too. So I'm not about to give it to Huff, who wasn't even dressed.
That was a disaster.
Or Braden, man, well, whatever, man. Braden. He probably deserves it.
He got better.
He probably.
Honestly,
dude, he was very good here. He was just inconsistent as hell. Like he would bomb it and then kick it way wide right. You know what I mean? Like, kudos for them for harnessing, his bombs, I guess.
Like, just seeing all the Jets that won, former Jets that won Super Bowl, CJ Uzoma on that team as well, who got a Super Bowl. It's like, damn, why couldn't we do this?
We have to be good.
Exactly.
We have to be good at football. Oh, shoot.
We'll get back to those days. I have faith in Justin Fields. I think he's going to be solid this year for us, especially behind this offensive line. I think Brees is going to rebound with this new offense. And just having that continuity with Garrett Wilson as well, I think could be really, really good. And if Malachi Corley, I know it's a big if he takes a step forward, that guy, get the ball in his hands, and he's going to run people over.
You know what? You almost, in my mind, I'm like, I'm just a lover of the Jets, so like I can rationalize it this way, but you can almost like lump Malachi into this draft class and like lump Leonard Taylor into this draft class because we just didn't get much out of these guys. Ryan, I asked you for 45 minutes. You've been here longer. Do you have a little bit longer to kick it, or do you gotta
I can
go?
stay a little bit longer if you want. I'm happy to just talk to you guys.
I do have. Murph has an errand he has to do real fast. If you can kick it for just a bit, I do have a couple more questions
got
for
you.
you. But by the way, you're killing it, and the chat
Thank you.
agrees.
You got an awesome
Murph,
chat. I'm looking over at the list and everything. You got a really, really great chat. Thank you, Murph.
it honestly it makes the show like it really does. These guys keep us going. They chime in and have questions like that makes the show, to be honest, and they build us up for sure.
And if you guys haven't hit the sub
let me
button,
ask you
if you guys
this.
haven't hit the like button yet and the subscribe button, make sure you guys do. They do great stuff over here.
Hey, love you, man. Ryan's channel is down in the black bar underneath him. You can type that into your browser, or you can go down in the description, click on his blue thing, and it'll take you straight there. But I have a really hard hitting question for you right now. You might be regretting the fact that you stayed a little bit longer.
No, I'm ready for anything.
1 gorilla or 100 humans?
Oh. Gotta go with the gorilla. No matter what, gonna kick some ass.
1 Michael no, shut
Hey, he's gonna jump on that pile and he's gonna bring him down, man.
I want. Did we add someone in the draft that can get Michael Clemens off this team?
No. In my opinion, Tyler Barron maybe, but I don't think. The only way I think Michael Clemens doesn't make the team is if the Jets go out and get Zadarius Smith. That's the way that I think they get him off the team, get him here for a year or two. Guy had 10 sacks last year, and he's still a free agent out there. Get him in here. That's the only way I think Clemens gets off the team. You already got Pritchett to get Gibson off the team, so in undrafted free agency.
There's a lot of people, like, we were all like, there's no way Clemens is going to be on this team. He got a pay raise. There's no way. But, like, now you see people backtracking and saying there is a path for him to be on this team, and it's starting to scare the hell out of me. Murph, what do you think? Do you think that the roster has come far enough along to get Clemens out of here?
I'm on the fence, honestly. I could see it either way. I would love to say that he's gone. I'm actually, I didn't really, I forgot to touch on it earlier, but I am actually very high on the Tyler Barron pick.
Okay.
I think the guy has a lot of potential. I don't think he's a day one, like, rotational. Like, I think it's going to take a little, coaching, a little learning from the guy. But if they can rein him in, I know we've kind of talked about that with other guys in this show. If they can rein him in, man, I think that they could get a solid edge out of him, at least as a rotational piece, man. And Clemens can be out the door, man. And I think 85% of Jets fans would be thrilled for that. I like Clemens as, like, a person. I think he's, like, an interesting person, and he's, like, a fun character. I always did. Even the stuff on the sidelines, all that. It was hilarious to me. Like,
I was cracking up.
As long as he's doing shit within the rules and it's not, bothering the team, because you could tell he was doing that in jest. So I don't know. Like, I like Clemens as, like, a person. I did not like his play on the field. Over aggressive, boxy, not flexible, not able to bend the edge at all. Like, and he's just, like, missing his assignments and the run game and stuff like that. So yeah, we've seen enough, man. Get him out of here.
The thing with Michael Clemens too, you see his size, and he should be a solid, like, run stuffer on there. And with all his size and power he has, but like you said, he's over aggressive and just lets too much too many people get outside of him, and he's not a great tackler either. And Rich has it in here. Clemens is a penalty machine, and he was. Anytime you had a 3rd and long, make sure Clemens is going to be the one getting the penalty, as for roughing the passer or something.
Yeah, and Saleh and them, they liked Clemens for him being like aggressive. They wanted him to be like a tone setter. And so they never deterred him from that shit. They told him, yeah, dude, be aggressive, like set the tone, man, hit these boys, things like that, just to scare that offense. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be. And it didn't work because it ended up just making him look stupid out there because he was just he was never coached right. They just let him be him, let him take on that persona and that, and it didn't work, and it just led to a bunch of bad tendencies that was too late to fix by the time everybody realized how bad it was.
Do you think, Wild Wave, great comment here. What do you think of the thoughts of possibly bumping him inside? Do you think we talked about DT, and I mean, I at least want to see what we have before doing something like that. But any thoughts on that idea? Because that is circulating.
I think he'd be lost in the fold. I don't think he's better than Wharton at DT. I don't think he's better than Noddy. Leonard Taylor III, I don't think he's better than. And you have McGregor, too, who can bounce in and out as well, who I thought did a solid job last year. And you have Watts on the outside as well. So I think he would just get lost in the fold. And I don't think he's going to see – if he's on this team when the year starts, I don't think he's going to get a lot of playing time like he did last year. This coaching staff, I hope, doesn't have favorites like the last regime did, because it was bad.
No, yeah, it was bad. I mean, you saw it, and that was honestly my biggest gripe with the Saleh regime is like snap count distribution. You saw too many guys getting too many snaps, and then other guys getting not enough. Clemens actually was just a tick below Quinnen in snaps, and Kinlaw, and like those 3 guys were all within like 100 snaps of each other. And yeah, Jermaine went down, but like you had to get more creative than just like give Quinnen more and them a little less. But like Quinnen capping out at 65% is just insane to me. Insane. When a guy like Jermaine goes down, you have to ramp up Quinnen to like 70, 75. But another question I want to hit definitely before we let you go is a news item of the week. The writing was on the wall. Muji kind of hinted around at this, and he was a man of his word. He extended the 5th-year option to all 3 guys: Jermaine, Garrett, Sauce. Jermaine, we were, but the other 2 obvious. Thoughts? I mean, both of you, because I don't even think me and Murph talked about this yet. But yeah, thoughts on us getting them locked in for what was it, for 2026?
Yes, I think 2026. So each one of them are good to go. I think Sauce has the biggest contract out of all of them for cornerbacks, and the others aren't too bad either. One of the first things Muji said when he was hired, he wants to keep good young talent here. And he's doing that. You get these guys. There's still time to work out contracts. I wouldn't be shocked if you see Garrett and Sauce getting a contract extension as the weeks go on. And I think that's good it's good to show the fan base too, because you're saying these things and you're actually doing it. A lot of the time the GM would say something and do the complete opposite, which
good point.
I'm liking it.
Jamal to be a Jet for life.
Oh, God. Hey, he could come back. Jamal Adams can come back. He's a free agent out there.
Well,
no, he can't.
He can't rectify his wrong.
Well, there was a big thing. It was Elijah Moore and Jamal Adams out there. And I made a video talking about both of them possibly coming back, but I don't see it happening. It's I think that ship is passed. Hey, I think Marcus May is a free agent as well. You can go get him. So,
big fella, back on the DL debate, man. LT3. just to reiterate, man, I do expect him to have a nice role on this team as well, big fella. If you guys, I know he has a gaming Discord, LT3. If you guys want a little closer interaction with him, he is out there, man. He's engaged with fans, so check him out. But also Watts. Watts isn't a bad guy to have in the fold. So it's going to be interesting. Like, I think I said it last week, man. Like, if there's ever a training camp I would want to go and see this year, there's going to be so much competition at all these spots. Murph, what do you think of the fifth-year options?
I think it was a no-brainer. All three of them, no-brainer. That's your core guys. You keep them here at least through to 2026. It's possible maybe you don't want to give one or two of those guys a second contract, but you need to see them. You need to see them in your system. You need to see them how they integrate into your culture, and see if they can still be mainstays and be the core of this team. If they can, then boom, let's re-sign them, or at least what we can, maybe we can only do 2 out of the 3. We'll have to see what the numbers look like as we get along here. But I think it was a no-brainer, and I'm glad that Muji is being proactive in getting these things done, instead of just like waiting, So he did what he needed to do, and I'm excited about it.
And he said, this is going to be after the draft. This is an after the draft thing. And he wasn't lying after the draft. I mean, yeah, the deadline helps, but at least he didn't piddle shit around or GM speak it. He just said, hey, this is going to be, and it was. But one thing I did learn throughout this process of us doing this, I thought that if you gave a guy a 5th-year option and he signed it, and then you gave him a massive extension, that it wiped that 5th year out. I thought it was just a placeholder, and that's wrong. I was wrong, and I learned that this week. It just gets tacked on after the 5th year option. So in theory, if we were to go give, say, Sauce a 3-year contract extension next month, that would be a 5-year deal, because it would be his 4th year now, his 5th year locked in, we just did. So 4 and 5, 6, 7, and 8, that's a 5-year deal. So maybe you see these guys getting I don't know, 3 for $100. And it's it's only 3 years, but not really. That locks them up for the rest of the decade, just about. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think honestly, the earlier, the better. But I like I said earlier, they probably want to see these guys in their system first with the new regime. We're all Jets fans. We've been watching these guys since they were drafted. So we're all pretty, we're confident or not confident in their abilities. I think Sauce is, regardless of how last year looked, and I still don't think it was a bad year from him, but the dude has the talent to be the best cornerback in the league every other year. You know what I mean? It could be him one year, and then Surtain the next year, and then him again, and then it could be dude from Carolina. He's really good too. Regardless, anyway. Yes. So yeah, I think that Sauce has that potential. So that's a guy that you just go ahead and, he's going to be good in any team, any system. He's not the best tackler, but a lot of cornerbacks aren't. I don't want to break any news here, guys, but a lot of cornerbacks aren't the best tacklers. They're not Ray Lewis out there. So
facts.
It is
Facts.
what it is. If he's locking dudes down, and I don't even care if he's not getting the INTs, dude. If he's batting those balls out of the air and stopping them from throwing to his side of the field, I'm all about it. So lock him up if you can as early as possible.
And if he's playing press man coverage and doing that, I am even less caring about his tackling. Because if you're let's say you're shadowing Justin Jefferson, I don't care. Okay, Clemens, whoever, you got to steal the edge. That's on you. That's not on Sauce. Will McDonald, I think, will take a leap too on the other side. So that's something we can look forward to. That's the thing, man. When you have a team this young, even adding no one, you are getting additions because every single player who hasn't peaked is getting closer to peaking. They're getting better with another year, another new regime, another year in the weight room. Like, there are 20 players I could rattle off on this team that are going to be better for us this year than they were last year because of how young they were. So 17-0? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that 500 should be a realistic target. I really am. I don't think, like, more news of the week, so many are mocking us to have the first overall pick next year. I do not see that. I don't think it'll happen either. I would bet my house, my life, that we do not pick first overall unless we trade into that spot. I mean, also, how often is the team that seems like the worst actually the one that lands there? It's not often, I don't think. But, yeah, what do you guys make of that? Todd Mache, the account from U Stadium, several others tweeting out that their early mocks have us picking first. Any little thoughts there?
I thought it was crazy. I don't think the Jets are the worst team in the NFL. Are they going to win a lot of games? I see them winning like 6 or 7. I don't see them making the playoffs, but with the new regime, but it's a start in the right direction. I don't see them picking first in this next draft. There are so many other teams that have a lot worse situations than us. So I don't see it.
I think based on the offseason moves that they made this year, they are not shooting for a Super Bowl this year. I think that's pretty clear. If you look at the free agency, you look at the decisions, letting Rodgers go and picking up Justin Fields as our starting quarterback. Like, I know some people are a little high on Fields, whatever, I don't even hate the guy. I just don't think that he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and Rodgers has done that, regardless of how you feel about him anymore. I was on the fence about whether to let him go or not, myself. But I think just when you look at those moves, like, it's like you're not thinking that they're tanking necessarily, but they're not putting themselves in the position to be drafted 25th or later, right? Because they know they have to get a quarterback next year. So even if they perform better than expected and we draft 12th, 14th, we can still trade. We can trade up to 6 or 7 and get maybe the second or third best quarterback in the draft, potentially, and next year's draft, that's still going to be a pretty good quarterback because you got probably like 5 of them that look like they're going to be studs if, as long as Arch comes out. So I think that they wanted to build a foundation for the team to where they can be feisty, they can compete, but they don't want to win too much next year. If they do, I doubt Aaron Glenn's going to be mad about it. Especially Aaron Glenn's not going to be. But I think Muji's looking at it like he's like, I want to think for now and for later at the same time, and it's hard to do that. But I just think that I don't know. I'm seeing 5 to 7 wins probably, and feisty in the losses. Like, I just think that. That's what they wanted to see. They wanted to see a team that goes out there and beats the shit out of the team that they're up against, whether they win or lose, and builds a culture, and you add the right pieces to it the following year, and you just top it off, and it's good to go, man.
I like it. Dude, Ryan, this has been awesome. I appreciate you coming on tonight. Gonna get you out of here, but I want your final thoughts maybe on, we haven't talked to you at all, so like maybe just a 60-second, like, how you thought, maybe, do you want to instill confidence in the Jet fans? Do you want to preach patience? You have the floor, man. What do you think about this new era of the Jets, and maybe what you have coming up, looking forward to? And again, guys, follow his channel down below. Ryan, you have the floor.
First off, thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a blast. I really enjoyed it. Biggest thing, this new regime is going to hold players accountable. There's not going to be any favorites. It's going to be the best players out there. They're going to be in every game down to the wire. They're not just gonna get blown out like it was in the old regime. I think they're gonna be competitive in every single game, and they're gonna get some wins this year. Don't be shocked if they're in the hunt at some point this year, later in the season. We're gonna play some meaningful games this year. It might not end up how we want. We might not make the playoffs again, but it's gonna just it's a building block year. We got pieces for next year to set ourselves up really, really well next year. And I think we should be excited. It's a new era of Jets football, a more aggressive, disciplined one. And I'm excited for it, and I think we should all be excited for it as well.
Love it, man. Love it. Tell the folks again where to
You
find
can find
you.
me on my YouTube channel called TheJetsWard. I talk about Jets and any updates on the NFL as well. You can find me on X under the same name. I do have TikToks under the same name as well. Just on all different social media floors at this point. And come hang out in the Jets Ward with me. I'm always happy to have any new people just to chat it up like this. And thank you guys so much again. This was awesome. I really, really appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe.
Definitely having you back, Ryan, man. A pleasure talking to you. What do you think, Murph?
Yeah, he passes the test.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey, I like
Jets,
it.
Jets.
Have a
great
good night,
night.
Ryan.
Thank
Later,
you
bro.
guys.
All right, man. You know what? I'm impressed because you can make content, but like until you're actually involved in live, like a lot of live streaming, it's hard to find like your voice and like to be able to talk full and long sentences and like actually convey full thoughts on a live stream. Dude, you're right. He passed the test, man, and really cool to see. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely keep in touch with old Ryan, and if you're still listening, Ryan, buddy, if you ever want to have a guest on or whatever, you just reach out to me or Dana. We're around. We're Instagram, Twitter, all the things. You can get a hold of us. We'll be happy.
Yes, sir. Dude, he even suggested they hit the like button. I love it. Murph, I don't know how long we are gonna do this tonight. You know, we're kind of whipped after the long-ass off season we've had already, but I do have one or two callers for you if you got time, brother.
Yep, we can do it.
All right, I do hear the phone is ringing in the danger zone. Without further ado, let's see who's on the line. Looks like the same guy who he is the speedy guy when it comes to opening the call-in line. You guys know him. You guys love him. So do I. Looking dazzling in his wife beater.
There he is.
What's up, my dude?
He seems like a cool guy, DayngerZone. Is that his YouTube channel name?
Yes.
It's not the same guy that does
Yes,
Wardy
sir.
Mets, right?
I don't think
believe so.
so. I don't.
Anyway, hope you guys are having a good day today. I sure as hell did. First and foremost, I had a lot of fun at the draft party last week. It's good meeting a lot of good folks, especially Fireman Ed.
Heck yeah.
Oh man, have you washed your hand yet from shaking his?
I did.
He did.
But he is strong as shit, I will let you know. He also signed my Funko Pop that Big Fella gave me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was a very nice man to me. It was humbling. It was awesome. And I was happy with the pick. I actually wanted Membu, and they got Membu. I hope he's a good player. He looks like a good player. I know people were saying, oh, the last time the Jets drafted a freak at the Combine was that scrub, Vernon Gholston. But let's hope he's not that type of player. Fingers crossed. I love the Mason Taylor pick. He looks like he kind of reminds me of a bigger version of Dustin Keller, who, in my opinion, was a solid tight end for the Jets. More of a receiving tight end than a complete tight end, but you get what I'm saying. I did like the Malachi Moore pick. He looks like a good player. I did like the A.Z. Smith pick. Is that his name, A.Z. Smith?
Yeah, that's what we're calling. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a good player. overall, I thought the Jets had a pretty solid draft overall. I'll probably give it like an A minus. Arian Smith, I thought was the weakest pick in the draft. I thought it was a good pick in terms of what they needed to add, like in terms of speed. In terms of speed and talent. I know people say he doesn't have good hands, he's not a good run runner, but that could be improved with coaching. I like Sean Jefferson. He's a good wide receiver coach. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Tyler Barron looks good. I've seen
The one time I would say not from your lips to God's ears, but go ahead, Charles.
Someone asked me about the Thunderbolts movie. Oh, Jake, you can message me on Discord if you're on there. Yeah, that's what I said. Tyler Barron looks a good player. The other linebacker we took from Miami looks good. I mean, it was a decent. I know we got a lot of undrafted free agents. I know we got the quarterback from Missouri who's supposed to be pretty talented. You know, and as for who I expect for the Jets next season, look, my dad and I, we talked about this a couple of days ago. We should try to strive for at least 10 wins. I know that may seem a bit high for some people, but we should try to win at least because we have talent on this team. I mean, look, we got talent on the offensive line. We got talent on the defense. And we got a good punter in Thomas Morstead. All we got to do is get our head out of our ass and execute. And hopefully, Aaron Glenn is somewhat of a similar persona to that of the legend himself, Bill Parcells.
You know what? I've heard one or two people say that this draft class, this draft haul was very reminiscent of a Parcells haul. And I like the way that sounds.
Wide Wave said, this man said 10 wins in a rebuild. I disagree. I agree with Nick Shine. This is not a rebuild. They say no damn rebuild.
Yeah, it's hard to be it's hard to be a rebuild. Like, think about it this way. If we cut our entire team, I think that damn near 7-8 guys would go and get 20 million AAV contracts. 7 or 8 guys, man. That is a foundation.
Exactly. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay. What do you think of us extending the 5th-year option to our 3
it's
guys?
freaking amazing. Garrett Wilson, A+. Sauce Gardner, A+. Jermaine Johnson, A+. That is a no-brainer. Jermaine Johnson, he's a very good player. He's a complete edge rusher where you could defend the run and rush the passer. Do I think he could get double-digit sacks? I think he can because he's a very good pass rusher. I mean, he's strong. He's athletic. You know, he plays hard. He does not take plays off.
Yeah.
Facts. Do you think one gorilla would win or 100 humans?
Well, I think there will be a lot of humans that would get their arms torn off because gorillas are a lot stronger than a normal man. Unless you had, I mean, 100 men versus one gorilla. Well, if they were unarmed, I'd say the gorilla would have an edge. But if you had 100 humans armed with weapons, the gorilla is screwed. Unless the gorilla was super intelligent, like uses guerrilla warfare like Rambo.
What if they would need to gang up on the gorilla immediately, right?
You got to take the eyes out first.
Yes.
You know what? Good point. I'd give him the old dick twist.
Give him the old twist. Yeah. He might just render them.
But I know you guys got it from the Giants video. That was an interesting video. One guy was like, 100 humans would get messed up. That was pretty hilarious. 100 prime Mike Tyson's, well, the gorilla better watch his ears because he might get them both bitten off.
You know what? My theory is like if you have like 100 like acres they're on, I think the gorilla would just pick us off one at a time and just use one of us as a ball bat and just But if they're in like a coliseum and like 100 can just hop on the gorilla and hold it down, I think we got it. So I think the venue is what I'm trying to say. The venue it happens at makes the most difference.
Absolutely, 100%. I would not fight a gorilla. I'd rather befriend a gorilla than actually fight a gorilla.
Yeah.
Charles is going to be the trade
Did you
of,
do?
of the 100 people. He's gonna befriend the gorilla and give him insider information. To how
I'm not
to
going to give
defeat
him insider information. I'm going to give him, like, bananas, fruit, a hug,
Yeah, keep him
teach
hydrated.
him out, teach him the way of the human race.
Yeah.
You're gonna lull them to sleep for us. Yeah, I
No,
like
that's
it.
not going to happen. No.
Let me ask Charles. Let me ask you a NFL question. Was there a single pick that happened that wasn't the Jets that you were mad that we didn't get them? Like you really peeved that? See, for me, it was the Bills taking Jackson Hawes that really irked me. But what about you?
Personally, I know a lot of Jet fans did not want to take a quarterback in this draft, but I really did like Kyle McCord, who just got selected by the Eagles. Did that upset me a little bit? No, but I did hear he was an Eagles fan, and yet he said he wore number 6 because of Mark Sanchez, which kind of gave me the impression that he was a Jet fan. But hey, I thought he was a solid quarterback coming out of college, but it is what it is, man. Were there any picks that other teams took that upset me? No, not really. I'm not lying. Not that I remember, but I could be wrong. But as of right now, no. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy the Jets got their offensive lineman, their tackle, and hopefully their star tight end.
You know what? You actually had like I was editing my draft footage, and before the Mason Taylor pick, I actually saw your comment, and it said, "I want the Jets to take either Mason Taylor or Arroyo," and you were right. So yeah, talk to me about how much you liked us taking Mason Taylor.
Mm-hmm. He's a talented player, plus his father. I know he's a Miami Dolphins legend and Hall of Famer along with Zach Thomas. But he did play 1 year with us, and he said it himself, and he was intelligent and bold enough to say this. His best year in terms of team success was with the Jets in 2010, where they went to the second straight trip to the AFC title game. Obviously, his best statistical seasons individually were with the Dolphins, where he destroyed people. As a matter of fact, I think he sacked Tom Brady more than any other quarterback in his career, which is saying something. He beat the shit out of Tom Brady. Tom Brady can celebrate 7 Super Bowl rings, but I guarantee you, he's probably thinking the Lord Almighty that he's not facing Jason Taylor again.
It's a good point, man.
And he had a nasty spin move. He
was just so big.
He's 6'. His son,
so big.
But the thing is, Jason Taylor's only 245. His son's almost 260. They're big kids. They're a big guy. They're big people.
I think, and his son's never been in an NFL weight room around other athletes that are like, all right, you need to get bigger and stronger now. Like the pressure, I think he's going to get bigger. Murph, what do you think? Is Mason Taylor maxed out on physique?
Well, he's going to get with the nutritionists and the strength coaches and stuff, and they're going to change his physique. Even as good a shape as he is in right now, they're going to tweak it to be his NFL best. I don't know if that necessarily means gaining weight or losing weight or what, but they're definitely going to tweak his body composition and things like that. Yeah, at 260, he doesn't really need to gain weight. I mean, he's probably pretty good right there. They might have him drop a few pounds, if anything. That's a big boy.
It is.
It is. A lot of 12 personnel coming up, man. So I don't know. You guys who don't like Ruckert, you guys got to get used to it.
I don't mind Ruckert.
It's going to be out there, man. 1-2 punch. Taylor, Ruckert.
And then you got Stone Smart.
Probably playing big slot a lot.
Yep.
So we'll see what the hell happens. That's all I got to say for now, boys.
Hey.
For those who were wondering, last night I did an out-of-theater reaction to the Thunderbolts movie. I will do a review tomorrow. So if you want to just tune in and check that out, be my guest. And as always, peace out.
Hey, did you finish Daredevil season, the new season yet?
I have not finished. I have not watched it yet, but when I do, I will let you know.
All right. Hey, catch you later, brother.
You too.
Charles, coming on, buddy.
Dude, I love his calls with us because we keep him like he's good, man. Speaking of Daredevil, I'm about halfway through the new season, and I like it. I like it, man.
I was talking to this girl the other day, and she was telling me about like, because I was like, "What series do you like?" Things like that. Whatever. She was talking about Netflix and things like that. She starts naming all this shit off, and I'm like, I ain't heard of any of these hardly. And then I started thinking, how I was like, when's the last time I've watched a series? And I swear it's probably been a year or two since I've actually watched a series. I've rewatched a couple, but I haven't watched a new series in I don't know how long. And I got plenty of them on the list. Like I haven't watched the new season of Squid Game for one.
Yeah,
like, I really like to check that one out. And there's several others, but I just don't take the time out to do it.
if you're coming in off of that long of a hiatus, man, you got to check out White Lotus. I'm telling you, HBO as well. So I know you have Max. White Lotus is.
Okay, we'll talk about that off camera. You guys let me know what it's about and stuff.
Facts. I did throw the link down in the chat. Wild Wave's toying with calling in, man. I might need to mentally prepare for a Wild Wave call, man. We'll see if he takes us up on that. If not, maybe we'll get a Wild Wave call here in the next month or so. But anyone else wishing to call in? The topic is vibes, man, on the draft haul that we got, and whether or not you think the gorilla or the 100 humans win, because that's pivotal.
That's the talk of the internet right now.
It really is, man.
I feel like that's a rehashed thing, or maybe it was gorilla, silverback, and a grizzly. I think used to be the thing, but yeah.
I guess it's. I don't even know what started it. Maybe Mr. Beast, something, But I do feel like
a Joe Rogan thing to me.
I feel like I've heard it. I've heard it before, but I've never seen this many people actually entertain the idea. Like, you got Jet players tweeting out their answers to this. Braylon said, ain't no way the humans are going to have a chance. And I disagree. But the humans have to be in the right state of mind. Like, it's life or death. It's not, you're not just, you're not scrolling on your phone,
Yeah, and not like 120-pound dudes either. Like we're gonna need 100 Braylon Allens out there. Like we're gonna need some big strong dudes with some weight behind them that can hopefully, after the first 10 or 12 get ripped apart, they take his eyes out and pile up on them and hold them down, and maybe they can get something done.
You've said that about the eyes, and that is something I did not consider. That's clutch. If you can get that right off the bat, or
if they can jump on its back and gouge them eyes out early.
Hey, PETA, if you're watching this is purely hypothetical.
We would never want to do this to a
yes. Chris B, I see your message. Just know that staying in the chat, if you are engaged in the chat, that is more valuable than even calling in. So just keep killing it down there, brother.
Chris,
no pressure at all.
We appreciate Chris around here, that's for sure.
Facts. JT, he said it's about the strats. I don't know what that is. Maybe you can comment on that.
Strategies.
I thought he was talking about like back muscles or something.
Traps you're thinking of. That's the
Or lats.
Lats. That's your back. Yeah, that's your wings, dude.
Fair. Just don't have 100 Jeremy Ruckerts out. No, I shouldn't say that.
Oh, come on.
Nah, you know what? I'm down on Gibson. Way down on Clemens. Pretty down on Zerline, but Ruckert, like, for what we're paying him, like, I'm not concerned with cutting him. Like, whatever. He's our new Yeboah. Like, what? Okay, those four guys: Gibson, Clemens, Zerline, and Ruckert. People are down on all four. Are you different than consensus for any of those four guys? Maybe stronger against, or maybe better for?
Okay, so Gibson and Clemens, like, they got to get off the team ASAP, as far as I'm concerned. Like, yesterday, if we can somehow turn back time and get rid of them yesterday, that's fine. Zerline, and I got to give Zerline kickers, man. It's just weird with them. Sometimes they just have down years, dude, and they bounce right back. I'm not ruling out Zerline going right back to 85+%, field goal percentage. I'm not ruling that out. So he's probably the leading candidate to me to have a bounce back, to prove himself again, but it'll be too late by the time he does, because his contract will be over. So we'll be on to the next one, I guess, at that point. But and then Ruckert is kind of the dude in the middle for me. He hasn't proven anything yet. That's not to say that he won't this year. Maybe he'll take a step, dude. Players do that shit all the time. Guys will be in the league 5 years and be mid as fuck, and then all of a sudden they just have this season where they're like, everybody's like, wow, okay, well, where'd this dude come from? You know what I mean? And it could happen. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it yet, and I don't see it unless he can get it together. For one, the injuries are a problem, and that might be the reason why he hasn't been risen to his potential, because the guy is a solid athlete. He's got everything you want. He's tall, he's strong, he's fast enough. He doesn't run too bad of routes. He has the mentality to block, even though, sometimes he misses his angles and things like that. Could work on his technique a little bit. He's got a lot of what you want in a tight end, and we were all excited for him for a reason, but that he just hasn't been able to put it together, and maybe it's because he keeps getting injured. Because every year, even if he didn't miss a game, like in the off season, he would have something like a lingering backs, whatever it may be. He's had some things going on, and maybe that's what's hindering his progress. Maybe if he has a healthy off season, has a healthy season, he'll finally start to put it together. I don't know, but I'm not banking on it. We got Mason Taylor now. That's our guy. Ruckert's just going to be tight end 2 and, help us in a limited role. I want to throw another name in, though, because are you out on Tony Adams after having kind of a rough year last year when a lot of us were high on him?
Great question, because quietly I have a strong Tony Adams take, but I don't know, because we've literally added so many pieces to that secondary that honestly, if he earns it, it's going to tell me a lot. But also, knowing that we're about to have a $30 million corner in that room, and the secondary is the secondary. I don't separate CB and safety, free safety. It's all together to me. If you have a $30 million guy back there, you need cheap labor, guys that can play above what you're paying them. I feel like Tony Adams can be that guy. Cisco is probably his greatest competition. I feel like one of. He's got some salary to him, and it's a 1-year deal. Adams might not even have to start, and because before he had to start and kind of command the secondary a little bit. Maybe let's give him a little less. Have him play under Cisco, and Cisco can nurse him into being the next Cisco. It's all about expectations for me and Adams. Do I feel like he deserves a roster spot? Yes. I think he's a great asset to the culture. I think he's the continuity, the transitioning from one scheme to the next, I think he'll be great with. On field, I didn't think he was terrible, even though Woody Johnson did. We brought him back, restricted free agent deal, so he's cheap now. if he does play very well in a semi-small medium role, I want him back. I do. Because also, he's not going to command a bag. But also, Cisco will be leaving. There is a role for him on my defense. I like the kid. I don't think you can find a bad thing to say about him, except he's sometimes a yard short on routes. You tell me, though. Am I too high on Tony Adams? Talk to me.
No, actually, I don't think you are. I think that we were high on him for a reason. I think he showed potential. I think that he just, and somebody here said it in the chat, and the guys are flying through the chat here, by the way. Appreciate all you guys tonight. But somebody said it earlier, man, like everybody regressed. Like the whole fucking defense regressed last year, pretty much. You know what I mean? So I can't. You kind of just chalk that up to just like what a year. You know what I mean? Like what a freaking year. And you see what you got out of him next year in a different system. I think he's got potential. He's an athletic guy. He's a hard worker. I think he's willing to learn. I think he has a chance. So, and you mentioned like him sitting behind Cisco. Well, then who's our other safety this year? I think they're going to be playing alongside each other.
Yeah, he might have a shoe in for the starting role. I honestly don't know. You got Oliver back there. Like, there's a lot to let sit. Like, we have like 10 guys in 5 spots. So just dump them all in. We'd have no Stevens. There could be a hybrid somewhere. I have no idea. You might be right. Maybe he is closer to full-time player than I gave him credit for. Good call.
Yeah, I think that I think he's getting another shot this year. I do, and I hope he does well with it. You know, and maybe he land or at least gets another year out of us. Maybe we give him another 1-year deal, and you know he plays solid, and maybe he outplays that contract, and he ends up signing a bigger contract somewhere else, and Malachi Moore steps right in and hits the ground running. That's optimal. That's what we want, you know, and maybe that's what Muji and Glenn are hoping for. But we'll see.
Honestly, Malachi Moore too, like I know you said earlier and kind of caught me off guard, like he is not going to be pushed in, but like he is coming in with the same leap as Tony Adams. Like I think that they're on even footing because it's not the same scheme and the same regime. And Malachi Moore isn't one of the 20-year-olds we drafted. He's pushing 24. So like let them battle, man. Them two and Cisco for 2 spots. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's a rotation, like the chat has screamed at us. A rotation does make sense. But also, like, you got to take what the offense is giving you. Do people want to run on us? Then we're going to have a certain safety, a safety duo out there. Are they passing on us? Different duo. I want Adams to be our coverage guy, like our more rangy, roaming safety.
He's the fastest safety we have, so I think that's a good idea. You know, as long as his coverage skills are honed up nicely, and I don't think his coverage skills are bad. So I think that I'm in agreement with you. I think that's a great idea. I do like the fact that we have the potential to change it up in certain packages and even have 3 safeties out there if we wanted it. Like you could have Oliver in the mix too, like Cisco, Adams, and Oliver, all 3 of them up there. If you have a heavy pass set that you're playing against or something, last 2 minutes in the 4th quarter when you're up or whatever it may be. I like the versatility back there, and if there's a guy that's going to figure out how to work it, that's probably Steve Wilkes, man.
It's a good point, man, and I'm excited. Like, that's why I would love to see camp, because like as exciting as offense is going to be, and all the casuals are going to be watching Fields in our offense, but like sneaky stories are all over that defense. They are as many starters as we had outgoing, and the floor to ceiling, like Kinlaw leaving, I don't care what the hell he signed for, but like we could easily top his production. Will McDonald should play better than he did last year. Jermaine coming in. Quinnen, I feel like, with more help, that front four is going to be better. The linebackers, knowing they don't have Mosley coming, they're going to be more prepared. Yeah, dude, it's just, we're in a transitional phase. You cannot say 10 wins. Just don't, man. You're just setting yourself up to be pissed.
Can I just, I wanted to rewind real quick back to, you mentioned Will McDonald. And I just want to say, guys, if Will McDonald is a pass rush specialist and gets us exactly 10 sacks a year for the time that he is with the Jets, that is a hit. That is a hit on your pick. Like, I'm sorry, like, you don't just pluck those guys out of nowhere. Like, that's productive, because pass rush is king in the NFL. Like, you got to get to the quarterback in this passing league. So if you're just rotating him in and he's getting sacks for you, and then on the heavy rundowns and stuff like that, you have him out and have whoever else, and whatever they want to, if it's, I don't know, Tyler Barron and JJ or whatever they want to do for that, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, if you got 10 sacks a year out of a Will McDonald, that's a hit, man. What we got going on? All right.
Voodoos are legit.
This bad boy's a 9%er. Not sure what I'm getting myself into here.
Bro, that's a tall one too. You're getting that. That's a 6-pack on wheels, man.
And it fits real nice.
It did, Scott. It did.
Yes, sir. What's up, Scott? I don't know how long you've been in the chat. I know you've been there for a while. I'm sure you have some opinions about what we've been saying. Talk to us.
I've been here most of the night. Bring up something specific.
We passed on DT.
I wasn't happy with that.
Facts.
I wasn't happy with what I considered a potential passing on what I considered potential number 2 receiver as well. That's my biggest problem with the draft. So anyway, but hey, gotta let the guys play and let the guys coach. My biggest hope for the defense is there is talent there. I still think they should have taken a big man, but change of scheme and better coaching could change things significantly.
Yeah. And if you like, even if you missed on a couple things that us as fans say that was absolute needs and we had to hit in the draft, that doesn't mean it was a bad draft necessarily.
Right.
Because we still did hit some of the needs that we needed. I mean, you only get 7 picks or whatever it may be. You gotta try to do your best, and you don't want to reach too far for players that you don't think are worth it. So the way the board falls, and you don't want to overdo it and reach, so on and so forth. I think they did okay. Honestly, I think they did okay as a team. I think there's still some things to fix on this team, but we weren't going to fix it all in 1 year.
Well, and Murph, you brought it up. The guy from Kansas City, I mean, he might ball out. Mm-hmm. Now, he's on a 1-year deal, right? That's the lousy part of it. But and then maybe some of the youngsters from last year take a step. So we'll see. That's kind of the fun of it all. I'm just open to seeing what happens. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't disappointed they didn't get a more of an impact defensive lineman and a potential number 2 receiver. So
facts. I also think what impacted that, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't think so. The fucking Bills. They made a trade early on that put them in front of us in the second and third round, and they took a defensive tackle and an edge in 2 and 3. Then they made a separate deal that put them in front of us in the fourth round. They took another defensive tackle. Do you think that's? Do you think they perhaps telegraphed Muji, or do you think? What do you think there?
Well, I think they suspected the Jets were going to take one because everybody thought that, right? I mean, we thought it. Every person that did a mock draft ever thought it. Every analyst thought it. So, hopefully joke's on them.
I got to ask a question to both you guys. Scott kind of brought this up and it made me think about it. We got a couple guys on 1-year deals, and Andre Cisco and Naughty. Is it Derek Naughty? I think it's Derek. Either way, the Naughty dude from KC. Who do you think, or if we were to re-sign one of those guys, who would you want to re-sign for maybe another 2 or 3 year deal afterwards? If you could choose one of the two.
We have to decide now.
Yeah, that's the fun of it, Scott. God damn it.
So who do we wish was a multi-year deal instead of a rental between Naughty and who?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, if you're going to re-sign one of those guys after this season, Naughty and Cisco, they're both 1-year deals, just based on how you think they're going to perform and how they can perform even in the future, whatever.
Well, I don't know the age of Naughty. Cisco's fairly young still, right? But I think right now I'd say Naughty. If he is an effective run stuffer, I mean, what's been their biggest problem on defense for a while now? So,
Naughty is 28 years old, so he's not too old, and DT's last into their 30s. So
those guys play. They play late. So
usually last till 33, 34.
Naughty for me.
Good. I am so glad you said that, Scott, because it leaves me the option of taking Cisco. That's perfect, because it gives the chat, both takes. Mine would be Cisco, and not that Naughty is wrong, because I do want to draft the guy we have next to Quinnen. Whether, eventually we'll do it. But also Cisco. 8 picks the last 3 years, 7 in 22 and 3. I'm hoping he gets closer to the 3.5 a year than the one he had last year, and I would give him a 2 or 3 year deal. Maybe we don't need him as much. I think you're right there. We probably don't need him as badly. But when you're thinking about turnovers, I think I could make that argument that we need him even more. So, I don't know. We'll see. I hope his aggressiveness in playing the ball, I hope that rubs off on the rest of our secondary.
Well, forcing more turnovers would be great, man. Last year was really bad in that department.
Yeah. Murph, talk to us because it was your question. I know you have a take.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a good question, and it turned out because I got 2 different answers out of you guys. So look at me taking over. Anyway, I could make a dispute for either or. I'm high on both of those players. That's actually my 2 favorite signings of ours, and I was bummed that both of them were 1-year deals. I'm guessing that they just want to see, either they're just trying to plug a hole for a year or they want to see how they fit in their defense. And none of us can predict, what's going to happen and how they fit and so on and so forth. I think I'm going to go the beef route. I'm going to go the Scott route. I'm going to say, let's plug up that nose tackle role and stop the damn run,
Ganging up on me.
I feel like it's easier to get a good ball hawking safety than it is, a good nose tackle.
Well, here's the thing. You could stop someone from running the ball, make them throw more. We might get more turnovers.
True. And also, like, will you allow Sauce to get used to playing press man? Because then he might change up his strategy a bit and be more aggressive at playing the ball than just poking the ball. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, give the guys a chance to be more aggressive. There's no point in having him in zone.
The coaches will decide, how aggressive do you want to be? Because, hey, he plays it safe, but he doesn't get beat very often because he plays it safe. No.
Just want to take a moment to shout out the chat who is still popping on this Friday night. I appreciate you all for joining us because I came into this thinking we'd do about 90 minutes, get in, get out. Every time I tell Murph that, you guys bring it, so I might have to start saying that every single Friday. But also take a minute to shout out the GOAT, Jake Asman in the house. Awesome seeing you in the chat, brother. How about them freaking Knicks? Jalen Brunson is the man. That's all I got to say. Detroit is weeping right now, and let them. Scott, we need your take. 1 gorilla or 100 humans?
I think a gorilla. If the gorilla just came out swinging, yeah, he just dropped about 5 every rotation. Silverback gorilla, I just saw some crazy thing the other day. It talked about a human bench pressing versus, they say like a silverback gorilla can bench press like 4,000 pounds or some crazy ass thing. It's like, okay, how do you deal with that? I don't care how many humans, one punch from that, and they don't get tired like humans.
Actually, that's wrong. They actually do get tired quicker than humans do.
Really? Okay. All right. I learned something new today.
I've read into this because this has been the internet sensation, and people in the know, people that are, homies with the gorillas or whatever it may be, seem to think that gorillas usually, they're not built to make.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
They're not built to last more than 5 or 10 minutes like maybe that cougar last night.
Oh,
anyway.
Hey.
No. So, yeah. And, Scott, I do want to say that there is a difference between a gorilla and a silverback gorilla, and that will change my opinion on it. I think the humans got a chance, but you change it to a silverback, and it might be a different story.
I did notice that the internet, they're starting to morph it into silverback, and I do think that does change it. But Scott's right, man. If this thing comes out swinging and gets momentum before the human, like if the humans even hesitate, they're probably screwed. They would need to just pile on the thing before, like if you can give me Aaron Glenn to form like a game plan before you kick off, and I think we got him. But if that thing just winds up like Donkey Kong, we're screwed.
Well, my money's on Sasquatch, so every time the brains of a human and the power of a silverback.
Sasquatch was dominating the chat earlier because I spied your little Sasquatch on the screen, Dane.
I found it.
I didn't even know it was there until people were talking about it. I was like, oh, there it is. It's like, where's Waldo? Except where's Sasquatch? Somebody found Bigfoot, dude.
Yes,
yeah.
Dude. It is. You're right. Because a lot of times, too, like, I'll be like this and you won't see it. But every once in a while, you'll get a peek.
I didn't notice it till Dane mentioned it, that it was on the screen. But
now you can't miss it.
I knew what I was looking for, so I don't know if anyone else would have picked that out. But
hey, Clancy said it best. Scott is a professional Sasquatch hunter. I will say this was a gift from Scott himself. Appreciate it, man. Into the danger zone it goes. Gonna add some more eventually, but honestly, I kind of like this look because it's not dominating, you know. But
I noticed you don't. You're killing me. You're killing me, Gay Pride tonight. He's killing it.
Well, yeah,
Anyway, I noticed the Rogers picture isn't in the background anymore.
Clancy used to have a Sasquatch, he said. Then he shaved, and now he just calls it gorilla.
Scott, how long are you going with yours, man? Are you going for the whole Sean McAteer?
I don't know. I'm starting to get dreadlocks in it, but they're kind of on the backside. So
Interesting.
I don't know. I may
Braided.
show up with it braided or something sometime, just for the laugh.
Matthew, you are on point there. He is a funny guy. He is timed perfectly, I will say. Just a moment to take a programming note for you guys. If anyone was here late on the draft on Saturday, we did mention a guest who would be on tonight. Ended up falling ill this week, so we will have him. If you know, you know. We'll have him on in the next couple weeks. But dude, Ryan filled in nicely. Scott, you were a viewer during that segment. Did it come across as good as it felt being on screen?
And it was a good fit. Seemed like this was one of the dudes talking ball, you know. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Because sometimes that's good. That's good. He did fit right into the DZ. We got to get him some brews next time, though. That's for sure.
I will say though, when I'm in the chat, sometimes I kind of miss what's going on here because there's Clancy's cracking shit up and some dude named Cougar Slayer was pretty funny earlier. I just sometimes I miss you guys because the chat's hanging. As
Fine by us.
You call it out.
Fine by us though, because you guys have a separate convo going, and then we can cherry pick good bits of it. No, that's perfect. And you're not hanging on every word because sometimes it's hard keeping it going, perfectly. But, anyways,
Dane, I have one bone to pick with you guys though, because you avoided a question I had a couple times, and maybe nobody knows because I sure the hell don't know. If we brought in any UDFAs that can possibly have an impact.
We did bring in quite a bit. I think I heard Snowball say 16. Some might. Murph can talk to you about one. I do know offhand that there was a Skinner wide receiver who we did give guaranteed money to. Like, that's the key with UDFAs. Who do we allocate our small cash of money to? Skinner, wide receiver, we did give guaranteed money to. Murph, talk to us about the nose tackle, but I also want to say that we also brought in Armand Membu's quarterback, Brady Cook, who, you never know, now that Jordan Travis retired, hey, he's going to be competing with MVP Nez. So, Murph, what do you think of the big guy?
All right. Well, this is a totally unbiased opinion here at all, and Mulba from WVU has the biggest arms of any motherfucker I've seen drafted. And anyway, no, he is a guy, and I'm like I said earlier, man. Like I watch most of the WVU games. There's a couple every year that I don't catch for whatever reason, busy, whatever. But and his name, I had seen it a few times, but not very often. Like I honestly thought he was like a rotational piece, to be honest with you. No, like starting nose tackle, but you just don't hear his name because that's what he's doing. He's doing nose tackle things and he's plugging the holes, man. You don't hear his name because he's not a pass rusher. He's not a Quentin Williams. He's not a Leonard Taylor, the guy that's going to explode through the line and sack the quarterback. He's that big dude that's going to plug those gaps. He's going to stop that running back from getting past that offensive line. So will he be able to translate to the NFL? Who knows? But he's got the body. He's a big son of a bitch, and he should be able to, if he's coached well enough, maybe he can be like a rotational, like run stopping nose tackle. I'm excited about it. We'll see where it goes. But, as we all know, there's only so many positions on this team after training camp and after, a season or a game or two in preseason. Um, you can only have so many slots on the team. So we'll see if he lasts. Look at that. Jesus.
Well, if now 100 of him and that gorilla. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, that's the guy that stood out to me. There's oh my God, 16 of them. I don't even know all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't name all of them right now.
I'll tell you this, Chris B.
195.
Chris B's naming them.
Chris B is an information machine.
The dude's middle name is Google.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, did anybody sign that monster from Florida, the 450-pounder?
Mm-hmm.
Who signed him?
I can't remember.
I forget who, but he also lost 25 pounds, I heard.
Oh, he's down to a measly 425 now?
Yeah. I got to look it up now because I can't remember who it was. Desmond Watson, Tampa Bay Bucks. I was right. Yep.
They like to throw some big guys in the middle of their defense.
Yeah, they got one of the best nose tackles in the league, man. What's his name? Vita Vea.
Vita Vea.
Yeah.
And they had him and oh gosh, Sue playing next to each other. Their Super Bowl year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, I wish we could get Quinnen to a dominant stage like Sue or the Rams guy, man. Like, talk about making a transition. This would not be a rebuild if Quinnen put in a career year.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I'm hoping that Leonard Taylor really explodes this year, dude, because that's going to make a difference. Sure. If he takes that step, then we can have two guys from the interior that can really crash the inside of that pocket and force the quarterbacks outside of it. And then things get a little dicey when the quarterbacks have to run outside the pocket, unless it's Lamar Jackson.
Here's a question that kind of branches out from that as I support Chuck Clark here, and we're talking about all the safeties that we have replacing him. Hey, he was my guy. Hopefully Malachi Moore is our Chuck Clark. But if you had one token, like a medallion or whatever, you give it to one New York Jet, and they're going to hit their ceiling this year. Guaranteed. You anyone you want, not Fields, come on. But like anyone, Quinnen, MC2, Sauce, Brees, Garrett, Tippmann, whoever. The list goes on and on. I mean, maybe not even who would be the most impactful, but like just who do you want to see the most? However you want to, splay it. You have one token. Who gets it?
I give it to Quinnen because I think that would help the team maybe more, but his ceiling might be higher than anybody else's. I saw someone say Corley. Well, how high is Corley's ceiling, really? We know Quinnen's got a high ceiling. But Quinnen would probably be my pick.
So is our token guaranteeing the player's going to hit their ceiling this year? And we're not including quarterback. I think you have to say Brees Hall.
Do I?
Brees Hall has one of the high, he has an extremely high ceiling. Oh, I know, Dan. You don't want to see him hit his fucking ceiling.
No, I'm kidding.
If Brees Hall hits his ceiling and has a 2,000-yard freaking all-purpose yard season with friggin' 15 touchdowns or something like that, because that is his ceiling, you know. Um, that's huge because we've all said it this year. We've all said it. We're going to be a running team. And what are you if you're a running team and you don't have a stud running back leading the charge, you know? So if we want to have any success this year, I'm giving my token to Brees Hall. Like, here, hit your ceiling, have a career year here because we're going to need it.
That's a damn good selection, and I joke because you're right. He might make one. I mean, Quinnen too, but like both those guys would make a massive impact. Does it at all scare you, Murph, though, that you're doing it in a contract year?
Not if I'm taking the short outlook. Like if I'm just looking at it like, hey, like I want to be successful this year, you know. Yeah, if he has a career year and he's up for a contract, then it makes things a little dicey, but you just figure it out. Either you sign him or you don't. You know, it's not like we
Fair.
can't find another running back. If so, maybe they won't be as talented as Brees, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys took probably the best two. I'm not gonna lie. That's what you should do, though, right? That's what you got to do. In the interest of not choosing one of those two, I think I would go Garrett. Just because, I mean, for all the reasons you guys said, he can impact just about every game anytime he touches the ball, and it doesn't have to be a 40-yard pass from Fields, right? A 12-yard drag, a 5-yard comeback, a quick slant, anything. He is able to take 10 and turn it into 20, 30. Plus, I mean, bro, we all want to succeed at fantasy football, and we're all going to draft Garrett Wilson. So, come on.
I have 2 years in a row. Last year, I took him, Conklin, and Greg the Leg. So, yeah, I know. Wilson was fine, but the other two, you know.
Was it a PPR?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
I had Wilson in one of my leagues, and I really thought he was going to go off, and he did, and I was very upset about that.
2 years in a row. At least the first year, there was no Rodgers. Then last year, and you know what, he did fine, but still, we were looking for 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, it almost felt like he looked more impactful the year before than last year. Even though the stats were somewhat similar, he almost looked more impactful.
Because there was so little good stuff the year before. I don't know how many touchdowns he had the year before, 2 or 3.
No, he had he definitely did have less, I think, but I don't know. Just going off of feel alone. Maybe it's just because like he went games where he was just buried. It felt like he was buried on the depth chart behind one fucking receiver, you know.
And probably if Adams hadn't ever come here, he might have had 1,512. I mean, think about that last. Was it the Minnesota game where he had 21 targets?
Yeah, 23. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who else was Rodgers gonna throw to? I mean, he liked throwing to Lazard some, but Lazard missed a big chunk of time, right? Anyway, how well?
Yeah, you're right.
Balls a game and 21 is going to one receiver.
It would have been better for my fantasy team. I don't know if it would have been better for the Jets.
Let me ask you guys a follow-up. None of us, I mean, we said defensive trenches. Nobody in here, though, said O-line. If you had to give yours to one O-lineman, can you tell me who your choice would be?
AVT. I think AVT.
You and the contracts, man.
I'm not looking at contracts. I'm feeling, baby. I think the highest ceiling is AVT, buddy. He could make a difference in the run game more than really any of those guys. Because Fashanu is a good left tackle. Like, I think he's a good left tackle. Like, I think he had a good year last year. He is not a run blocker. You know what I mean? He does okay. He gets us by. That's fine. As a left tackle, he's supremely good in pass pro, so that's great. I think if you had AVT hitting his ceiling and playing like he did his first year or two, where he is just creating gaps and holes for Brees, that could be fun.
Scott?
I think I'll say Membu just to know we got something. You know,
that was my first thought, and I pivoted
because I have faith in everybody else. We've seen everybody else perform. So if Membu comes out of the gates dominating, woo, man.
You know what? I think I gotta go with the tip of the spear. And I'll tell you why, man. Because A, I think his ceiling is up there with the best of them. Dude, he can go with even the biggest, he can go against the biggest defensive tackles. But I think that's Brees's, like, I think that would pay dividends to Brees beyond we can even calculate. If you have Tippmann putting in a career year, opening things up in the middle, then Brees isn't bad up the middle, right? Hopefully. Then if you have Brees not bad up the middle, then you have him also good on the edges. Like, then I just think, long story short, it makes everything easier. Braylon, like, you got these guys getting 4 yards up the middle every time. I'm down, man. But also, like, I kind of want to see Tippmann just be a beast. And just literally, when I say tip of the spear, yeah, it's a play on his name. But also, like, I want the O-line to look like that. Just going into the D-line. Just, you know.
You want to see the old the wedge. I used to run those on the kickoff returns.
Yes, exactly.
If you, I don't know if you recall, but pre-season last year, we all picked our breakout player. I don't know if you remember that, but I picked Tippmann as my breakout player for last season.
A guy who was,
I don't know if he was or not, but that's who I picked.
He was not one of the bad ones. I think I remember Jake, who was in here a little bit ago, Jake Asman, picked him as like our MVP player. I think Ian Jetson, like, it was a solid choice. And I wouldn't be shocked if you ran it back again this year. If you don't, I might, like, it's Tippmann, dude, how can you not love the guy?
Okay, so after this season ended, who would you say was the breakout player? To me, there's an obvious choice.
Sherwood.
Yeah.
That's probably what I picked too, because clearly I know what I'm talking about around here.
Oh shit! We'll have to go. I'm gonna have to look that one up now.
I honestly don't remember. I really don't. I was just thinking about it. I was like, who did I pick?
I laughed at us when we picked the Jets record. I came across that. I don't know. I mentioned it to Dane. That stuff did not age well.
No.
Hey, not everything does. Like, none of us are gonna bat 1,000. That's for sure. And that's why for me, it's less about who you choose and more about you making a strong defense. Like, you could pick the shittiest player on the team. If you then defend it well and, like, have us vibing with your rationale, that's all I care about. Not that you missed on it, but more that, like, you made it logical.
Well, and had we known that Mosley was going to hardly play, maybe someone would have picked Sherwood, but I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, actually, Mosley the year before was at 99% of the snaps.
Maybe
So,
maybe that's what really did him in.
yeah, good point. Good point. Um,
Knowing me, I probably picked Will McDonald. Which,
You
yeah,
did
be
you
fair,
did him to be the sack leader, so I think you got that one right. Yeah.
lucky, because Jermaine got hurt.
I got a spot on the show for a reason, Scott. Okay.
Yep.
I know. I think I remember who I picked, and I'm not going to repeat his name. So we'll leave it at that.
I wish I did. I could, like, honestly, I don't remember at all who I picked. Maybe Jermaine, and I don't know. I hope not, but let me just say though, you mentioned Sherwood. I do want to give him his flowers because, like, the further we get away from these regular season games, the less we remember. But, like, one thing I remember plain as day is how many games in the first quarter it looked like nobody was wanting to tackle except Sherwood and DJ Reed. And I'm including Quincy in that. Like, Sherwood and DJ Reed were the only two just thumping people. I'm glad we got to keep one of them. And Quincy, to me, had maybe not a down year, but a lesser year than I expected out of him, and I think he needs to do better this year.
I agree. He certainly didn't have the year he had the year before. No doubt about that.
I think he was still good. I think he played well. It wasn't the year before, but you can't expect somebody to have a career year every year. I think if he played like he did last year for the rest of his career, he would. I don't know. I don't know if he'd be a Hall of Famer, but he would be. He would have a hell of a career. You know what I mean? Like he would be considered. You know, a lot of people would be saying like, oh, maybe he should deserve consideration for it, but yeah, it's hard to get in the Hall of Fame, especially without rings.
And Murph, I did not pick number 8. I'm hold true to the thought was he doesn't need to be Hall of Famer to help this team, but when he wasn't, boy, he got shit on because of it.
I was only saying what Cougar Slayer told me earlier. He said that you picked number 8. I don't know.
Cougar Slayer does get some inside information here and there. I'm not sure where he gets it.
He does.
Good for him.
Oh, Scott, it looks like your webcam's bugging. Just a heads up. I don't know if.
No, it's this damn light above my head. Is it flickering?
Yeah.
Let me change it.
Scott's got
All
this strobe light on. That's what's going on.
Hey, the disco starts pretty soon. So
Hopefully, we don't have any epileptics in the chat.
Cougar Slayer's bringing some ladies over. Be right
Scott, we'll see you in a minute, bro. I thought that was a good open-ended convo that we can bring up though with future callers. Is you have a token? This guy is gonna ball out. Who is your choice? Because honestly, every time we have the convo, I could pick a different guy, and for different reasons.
There's a lot of answers where you can be like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I can't help that I had the best answer, but there's still a lot of great answers out there.
Yep, you're right, man. You're right. And like I said, it's not I don't even care about the answer. It's more about your like defense. Like, show me your debate skills. That's the best part of this thing is.
What if I
like,
said line? What would you have done?
You know what we gotta do one night? We gotta have a debate and just pick the shittiest answer we can and see how well we can defend it.
I might do that sometime just for the lulz.
Yes, and that's what we're heading into, man. Like, just anyone in the chat, there's still 11 of you on YouTube. You guys are killing it. You guys are addicts like us. You thrive. You want the convo. We enjoy the convo as well. Like, I mean, you see Murph and I and other people's chats chatting it up, because we love talking Jets, and we are out of market. That's another thing. I don't know if you guys realize. Hey, look at that guy. Crystal clear.
You know what? I don't know what it is. So it's dim lights that you can dim, and on the lowest level, at some point, it starts to flicker.
Oh yeah, you look good now, man.
Dude,
Not as good as Cougar Slayer.
come on, Dane. No, yeah.
Cheers.
You know, I wish I
Cheers.
was good as Cougar Slayer. Shit. I wouldn't be here on Friday night.
Yeah, we love you guys in the chat that chill with us on Fridays. I dropped a video today that is nothing but Jeremy Jets chaos. Check that out. You'll get to see some of his greatest reactions on the draft. That was pretty damn funny to watch.
I have another bone to pick with you, Dane.
What?
On one of your video drops.
You said you want a big nasty?
No, but somehow in that whole thing, it slips in where I say Milrow would be a better fit. Like I'm talking about Milrow, and it wasn't part of that. I don't know how
I know you were. Hey, that's when Mason Taylor was announced. I could only. You were talking.
Oh, great! But what the hell? Hopefully he'll be like a 5-time MVP, and I'll go see. I called it way back then.
You're right though, because the Mason Taylor thing barely even came through, and we were having a side convo, so it comes in like you're wanting us to take Milrow. You're right.
I think we were talking about maybe a quarterback that would fit. I don't even know if it was with the Jets. I think it was, but based on Fields and Milrow might be good. That's the option.
Well,
run.
Shuck guy just got drafted too. We were like shocked from that.
There was a few kind of shocking things. I mean, we all were kind of shocked when Loveland went, right? Looking back now, not as much, but at that moment, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're right. You know what? That's a good bridge to some other questions you missed out on, and we want to ask you, and that's what one pick stands out where you were like, fuck, we didn't get him. Someone else took him.
Well, I think I was too hopeful that one of the big fatties would drop into the second round. Grant and the Oregon kid. I was really hoping that was going to be our second round pick. And then the other one that really, and for a couple of reasons, one, I would have nailed it when we picked our first 3 picks, but when the Patriots took Kyle Williams, I think that was going to be the Jets pick. Two picks later, wasn't it? And I would have nailed our third round in our little contest we did, but he'd have been a Jet.
You're right. That was a big.
That was one that was that close to happening. And I thought, oh, here we go.
Dude, we joked about New England not having any receivers all last year, and now they got Kyle Williams right in front of us. That stuck in my craw too. Murph, what do you think of the one Scott mentioned?
I just wanted to mention how like this draft, the Bills and Patriots really bent us over. Like they knew what we wanted and they made sure that we didn't get it. Like the Bills especially were actively like, you're not getting a defensive tackle, they said.
Yeah. It's like
And
Belichick was somehow behind the scenes pulling some
yeah,
bull.
no doubt. And then the Patriots, like it was not the biggest secret in the world that the Jets were enamored with Kyle Williams. Like if you look it up, they had visits with him and everything. Like they were high on him.
Yeah.
Patriots said no,
Now,
no, no, no. They said no, we're getting them first. Um, and I know that really hurt you a little bit there, Scott. I hadn't watched film on the guy, so I wasn't going to pretend to know. I was going off of what I'm hearing off of others. It sounded like he was a good prospect. But overall, I mean, I still think we had a pretty solid draft. Wasn't perfect. No draft is, though.
right.
I think not enough people are talking about that Tyler Barron, though. I think he can be a contributor in a year or two. Seriously.
That was what the last one we took, right?
Yeah, he was the edge from Miami. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not talking about him enough. I know that.
I'm not going to pretend to really know those last few guys, but yeah, hey, that's hopefully they scouted them well and they know what they're doing. I'm not going to complain about a pick of a guy that I really couldn't tell you a thing about.
Yeah,
what I will say is we were just talking about the other teams in the AFC East also having good drafts. And what you did miss also, Scott, in the beginning of the show, I showed a whole bunch of people's grades. This time, I'm just going to skip right to the meat and potatoes, what everybody in the chat values, and that's Connor Rogers' opinion. So I'm going to bring that up, and I want to show you guys and see maybe what you might agree or disagree with. I don't know if you can go full screen or not, but if you can, here are the grades he had for all 32 teams. And I'd say we're about 21st on his list. Thoughts on this, but also thoughts on New England and Buffalo, Miami. Anything you disagree with?
I don't remember though. With what those guys did. I'm kind of with Murph. I heard Murph earlier say C plus. I was thinking C, and like I mentioned to you before, I like some of the players we drafted. I just didn't like the draft as much, if that makes sense. I just think we could have put it together a little differently. Like the tight end in the second round, I think we could have waited. The corner, like the player, was that what we needed to take right there? And I'll fall back on we didn't get that receiver, we didn't get that D lineman. Now, hopefully Murph's argument about the D line holds out. I'm not buying Arian Smith, and I gotta see it before I believe it.
Well, we are going to get into Arian Smith here in just a minute because I wanted to do this later in the show after not as many people are paying attention because I'm a little worried I'm going to be hot taked here. Before that, we're going to talk about Dane brought up the New England Patriots real quick. The Bills, I'm not near as high on, but that initial graphic that you showed earlier, Dane, had the Patriots at the very top. Everybody was high on the Patriots draft, and I think they did have a good draft, man. Not crazy on Will Campbell as a tackle prospect, but I think he can be a good guard in the NFL, so I still think it's a good pick overall. Like, I think you still got a quality player once you put him in the right position. Travion Henderson, that was my sleeper back. Him and Ollie Gordon were my two sleeper backs in the draft. And I think he's going to be a solid NFL running back. Kyle Williams, yeah, Kyle Williams. Well, that's more Scott's thing right there, but it sounds like he's a solid player from everything I've heard. Joshua Farmer was a fucking steal where they got him.
Yeah.
They had a pretty solid draft overall. and the whole league is recognizing that, and I fucking hate to see it.
And they brought in a great coach.
Mm-hmm. An experienced coach.
Yeah.
Too. So yeah, this is one the Dolphins. Ugh. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Kenneth Grant, I guess. Okay, but Ollie Gordon, obviously, I like that pick. But they're actually. I was looking at that earlier on another channel. It was like an NFL channel, the Goat House. He was rating different things and stuff like that, and he has Ollie Gordon as like a sleeper. As by the end of the year, he's going to be running back 2 in Miami. Was his like prediction. Shout out the Goat House. He's excellent for NFL content if you guys want to check him out. But I was just looking because he had the running backs listed, and I'm like, holy shit, Miami's got a running back room now because like it's like Devon A-Chain. There was Ollie Gordon. I know Alexander Madison is in there. There's another good running back too.
Mostert.
Mostert's gone.
No. It's Jalen Wright, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, like that. There's some talent in that room, man. There's some talent in that room. But yeah. So, but regardless, Miami's draft, I'm not crazy about it, to be honest with you. I was blown away when to be honest.
When they took Grant 13th overall, like I saw a video today, the Colts like just erupting and laughing and shit when Tyler Warren fell to them at 14. I don't know how much of that was about Miami taking Kenneth Grant 13th overall, but I will say them doing that, it shocked the hell out of me. I thought he would be 31st more than he'd be 13th. Scott, what did you think? Because I think you had him mocked to us in the second round. Thoughts on Kenneth Grant going in the top half of round 1?
I like the player. I was shocked that he went that high. So yeah, you're right. I had him going to the Jets in the second round. Although as we got closer to the draft, I kind of started realizing, oh, he's not going to make it that far. But 13, yeah, didn't see that one coming.
Right.
Scott,
and good.
That was a quick question, Scott. Who is QB2 in Miami now? Is it going to be Quinn Ewers or Zach Wilson?
I will say Zach Wilson will be beaten out by a rookie for the second year in a row.
Oof.
Damn. You know, while the chat...
I'm not a Quinn Ewers fan.
Sorry, the chat mentioned it. I felt the need to bring it up. Do you guys want to pitch a take on the crosstown, I don't know, the in-town rival Giants?
I think their defense might be legit next year. I'm not going to pretend that I can read this, but I know who Jackson Dart is there, and I remember as the draft went along thinking, oh shit, they're building a defense.
Yeah, good point. Actually, let me rattle them off just to spark your memory. They got Abdul Carter.
They got I know, yeah.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, Darius Alexander. Then they got Scatabo, Embo, Fedone, and Black.
And their defense wasn't bad and had some players to begin with. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, Darius Alexander next to Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter. I mean, I guess he's probably going to take one of those starting edge spots. And then the other guy, probably Thibodeau, is going to rotate in. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to work it, but that is a scary defensive line, man. Because even as harsh as we are on Thibodeau, he's still a decent pass rusher, Yeah.
And, hey, that might light a little fire under his ass, too.
Yeah. And Scatabo is another running back that I did like in this draft. I liked a lot of running backs in this draft.
That was Johnny's guy.
Yep. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Is it Scatibo or Scatabo?
I've heard it as Scataboo, Scatabo.
Dane, you can't just nod.
Sorry, I got when I
Well-
when I chime in, I'm like lagged over you guys, so I don't want to mess up. I've heard Scataboo and Scatabo, but not Scatibo.
Okay. So I'm okay. All right. Fine.
So it's just like Membu and Membo. It's the same dilemma.
It's definitely Boo. It's definitely Boo for Membu.
Hey, Boo.
I
I
don't know.
used to have a dog named Boo, but I think my next dog will be named Cisco.
Hey, you like the number 8 for the Jets, don't you?
I just like the name Cisco. Always have thought that was a cool name.
Scott, I know you can't read this, but I'm going to drop this in here for our resident Ravens fan. Maybe the guy who has them tatted on his body.
I was like, who the fuck is he talking about?
Not Murph?
Asshole. How many 6th-round picks did they have? Jesus. 5? Holy hell.
They have 11 draft choices altogether. Did I count that correctly?
I will say, like, this is hard to read. Let me just rattle off a few of the names. They got Malachi Starks. They got Mike Green when he was falling. Emery Jones. They got Aeneas Peebles late, and we were looking at him. They had a decent draft.
Yeah. Ravens always draft well, man. Even Starks going at 27. I mean, I guess it's not crazy, but I had seen him in the top 15 in a lot of mock drafts and stuff throughout the offseason, you know? He was like, you know, arguably the best safety in the draft. I liked Emin Mori better, but I liked, you know, Starks too. So, yeah, they had a pretty good draft. I don't know why we're talking about Ravens. Just, I'm going to say this is a Phoenix. Y'all can suck it.
What are you, rising from the ashes, Murph?
That's right. Rising from the cougar lair.
We did talk, we at least rattled off the names for 2 of our rivals. I put this up real fast, but let me just rattle off their names as well. This one you might be able to read, Scott. The names are bigger on it, but the Bills, they got Hairston. They got TJ Sanders right in front of us. They got Landon Jackson, Deion Walker. They got Jackson Hawes, which ripped my heart out as well. I thought it was a good draft from Buffalo, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I like a lot of those prospects. A lot of people probably don't know about Caden Prather, but he played at WVU too, and he was actually my favorite receiver we had at the time, and he transferred over to Maryland, that traitorous bastard. But he's a big, tall, lanky dude, real smooth in his routes and stuff. He could have potential to maybe make an impact as long as he gets the right coaching under his belt. Hairston he's an athlete, dude. Wasn't he the fastest 40 in the draft? So, you know, if you coach him right, you can work with that speed, and then taking 2 DTs right out from under our nose, that sucked. And then our favorite blocking tight end.
They knew what they were doing there. Was Hairston a projected 1st-round draft choice?
He was borderline.
Okay.
Late 1st, early 2nd. So he went about where he should have, roughly.
He's kind of a small, athletic guy, right?
Yeah. He may end up playing nickel. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm just responding to Johnny, and I'm sorry that I ever saw that Joe Hendry shit.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dane's a dick and shared a video.
I was blind for like 5 minutes.
Holy mackerel.
There you go.
Anyway, before we're signing off here, we got to get into Arian Smith. It was the one player I had time today. I watched like 2 different film breakdown reviews of him. One was the Jets film room with Luke. Dane, you were the one that suggested him to me. I checked that out. That was a good breakdown. Guys, go check that out if you get time to. And the other one was our good buddy Dylan Terriman. He's starting to do some breakdowns over there at Jet Nation. You guys know that Dylan knows what he's talking about, so that's another good one to go check out. The thing, and I'm being obvious here when I say this, but the thing that stands out when you watch the film is the dude is so freaking fast, dude. Like, I know he only ran a 4.36. That dude is one of the fastest collegiate players I've seen. Like I'm not kidding. When the quarterback is in shotgun and the ball is snapped, by the time the ball hits the quarterback's hands and he starts to take a step back, Harrison is 30 yards down the field and already has 5 yards of separation on a corner. Like that's how fast he is. Like, he is crazy fast. I get it. If he doesn't fucking catch the ball, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, you can use speed as a leverage to open up the other side of the field. You see teams that like to slot in speedy guys in there just to kind of open up the field all the time. I still stand by the fact that I think drops can be worked on. I think we can work some jug machines. We can figure it out, or we can get into the player's psyche. Maybe it's a psych thing, From what I was watching in the film, it didn't look like he had a bad. It wasn't a ball tracking problem. I thought he did pretty well at tracking the ball deep down the field. That's not an easy thing to do. Even if you've ever played backyard ball, it's not easy to look over your shoulder, spot the ball, figure out where it's at, the trajectory, where it's going, and where you need to be to catch it. And I thought he did pretty well, because there's quite a few of the plays I saw he had to slow down, which when you're that fast, you're probably used to that. But he had to slow down because Beck was underthrowing it. And he would slow down, make the adjustment, and most of the time, make the catch. Not a perfect route runner. I'm not going to say he's, he could be polished up in the route running. It's not horrible. I've definitely seen worse. And I think that he actually plays kind of smart. Most of that's just me basing on like the fact that he tracks the ball well, and he knows, like, there's a couple plays I watched where he was like leveraging the defense in the right way. So cutting in front of a linebacker, and before he gets to the next linebacker over, he dips deep to find the soft spot in the zone there, to where they can just over that linebacker into his hands. There's little things like that I thought he did well. And then the last thing, and I understand this is not the first thing you should ever bring up with a receiver. If it's the first thing that you say about a receiver, then he's probably not very good at being a receiver. But he is a pretty damn good pass blocker, especially for as small as he is, because he's only 195 or something. I don't know. He's not real big. He's like 6 foot, 195 or something. Pretty tenacious. He is not afraid to get up in a linebacker's shit, and I like that. I like to see that. So I came away positively. The drops it's not something I love. I don't like defending receivers that drop the ball. I love receivers with good hands. My favorite receiver of all time is Larry Fitzgerald. He has more tackles than drops in his year. I mean, most people know that stat probably. I think that's like your number one job, is to catch the ball, so you should do it. But I also think it can be worked on. So was it a reach? Yeah, based on what everybody else is saying. Does he have attributes that you can't coach? Hell yeah. And does he have qualities to his game that are appealing? Yes. So I'm not going to kill him over it, All in all, fourth round pick, guys. It's not a first round pick. It's not a second round pick. It's a fourth round pick.
I also think there's a difference between dropping the ball as a short possession receiver and dropping a few balls as like a deep vertical guy. If we're throwing it deep like that, I don't know. Like if you tell me you're catching you're not going to drop 8 out of 10, I think I'm okay. But like if you're a short possession guy, we're counting on you to get the first down. You drop it, you're going to let me down. If you're a deep vertical guy, we're just going to you for a touchdown, and if you drop it, then oh well. Big difference. But Scott, what do you think about what Murph said?
Well, don't drop big touchdown, long touchdown. That, to me, that's worse than dropping a short ball here and there by a long shot. Hey, part of the problem was they probably could have drafted a guy 2 rounds later. Although there's no guarantee there's not someone who was thinking like the Jets were if they really wanted him. So I wouldn't have done it. Like Murph said, most important thing a receiver does is catch the ball. And if they're dropping damn near 20%, but speed can't be taught. True. But one-trick ponies don't work very often in the NFL. So we'll see.
Fair. You know what? If he can be a decoy, though, and a gunner and a kick returner, like Murph said, 4th round pick, we're probably getting our return of investment. But the problem, I think, is how we need a wide receiver, too. And we're going to force this guy to try to be that, and we're going to be let down, and we're going to ride him out of town on a pike. So that's where it's like, if you put your expectations on on 4th round weapon, I don't know. You might give the guy a little more benefit of doubt. Maybe hey, I heard it today, and it's a great thing to say. It's not draft. It's draft and develop, right? They got to develop him now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you can coach this kid, he could be an asset to the team. I'm not saying as a wide receiver 1 or anything like that. He could end up being a wide receiver. If you could fix the drop issues and clean up his route running a little bit, he could end up being a good complement to Garrett. I'm not saying like maybe like a 600-700 yard receiver a year, like with 7 touchdowns or deep balls. Opening up the other side of the field and letting Garrett work those soft zones in the inside. Man, he's got the potential. I'm not saying he's going to do that. He needs help. He needs coaching, as all of the young prospects do.
Make Lazard redundant next spring. If they're the same guy next spring, we just save $10 million a year.
Can you believe of these last 2 years and all the shit that went on with ex-Packers, and Lazard's the guy that's still here. Lazard. Oh my God. People are so ready
Lazard non-existent. Hashtag.
So if he ends up being, let's say, a Marquez Valdez-Scantling, is that okay? Is that good? 4th round? I think Scantling was probably a 5th or 6th, but he's hit some home runs over the years. Led the league in yards per reception one year, and he drops balls. Maybe not quite the rate, but he drops balls. And he's a speedster, kind of a one-trick pony, but he had a place in their offense.
Hey, 160-yard touchdown pass can completely change a game.
And you know what? He played a lot more last year than he did before that. He had a 22% drop rate last year, but over his career, 16. So what that tells me is if he played a hell of a lot last year, and it was 22, but it all averaged to 16. That means before last year, it wasn't so bad. It was probably 10. And then that 22 brought that 10 up to 16. So, like, I don't know what happened last year. I really don't. But, Scott, you're right, man.
That's all players in the NFL and college. They have down years, man. They have up years, down years, whatever, you know. We could look at last year as a down year for Brees, and he can go right back to square one next year. We don't know. That stuff happens. Like you see sometimes, like running backs, they'll develop the fumbles, dude. They'll have like 5 fumbles in a year and damn near be about to lose their job, and then they go right back to next year and they have one fumble or something.
Zerline.
You know? Things like that. Yeah, kickers are a really good example of that. You see that Zerline had a bad year in Dallas. Came to us, he had 2 great years. Great, like really good years for a kicker. And then now he's having a bad year again. He may go right back to it and have good year, two or three more good years afterwards. We don't know. So you see that stuff happen. Sometimes a receiver has a bad year with drops, man. That does happen. So that's why I can't throw the kid out the window over one bad year of drops. And yes, it was really bad. 22%. That's bad. It is. But he also has something that very few other players in the draft have, and that's elite speed.
Well, that's too, like, I think we're gonna struggle with easy points next year. Before the draft, we were really gonna struggle with easy points. This guy, he's probably gonna piss you off at times, but he's also gonna get you some easy home runs. He will. So then it's like everybody's really focused on the hair scratching, whatever the saying is. But honestly, he's going to have a lot of fantastic plays too, because you saw it, Murph. He gets separation.
Yeah.
But will he get that in the NFL? I saw highlights too, and it's like, where's the defense? He'd be like 8 yards behind everybody. And I know that in part is speed, but that's not all about speed.
But he was doing that in the SEC. To be fair, like it's not like he was doing that in the MAC.
Well, SEC is not the NFL.
Most of the NFL is the SEC.
You know what Baldy said though, and I really liked it. He said he's excited to see him go against Sauce every day at practice. I think Sauce needs that too.
Well, here's the other thing. We don't know how much he's even going to play. I mean, remember the talk about Corley the year before?
Mm-hmm.
He disappeared.
Yeah. It'll probably take a couple years before they ever give him a full chance to be like a wide receiver 3, honestly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just coach him up for a couple years and then see if that speed shows here 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to rely on him to be a key cog on the team, but can he be a contributor in a couple of years? I think he could. And I think Corley still can too. Honestly, I think, he wasn't given a chance last year, and you can say maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was an attitude thing. Maybe it was he didn't want to practice hard. I don't know what the deal was, but a couple times that we did see him, he didn't look terrible. He made a boneheaded mistake by dropping that ball before he got in the end zone. We all know that, but that's not the first time we've seen a player do that either. That's happened several times. These players, they get so excited, they get worried about what fucking celebration they're going to do in the end zone. They forget to hold on to the ball on the way through.
We've seen a lot better players than Corley do that.
Yeah,
dude, we said it at the time too. We're like, just don't not go back to him. You have to go right back to him. You can't have him let this fester in his mind and the New York market. They did exactly that. They didn't go back to him. They let it fester. They just chalked it. So stupid.
Well, I think the problem is they didn't really want to play him. And then when he did that, they're like, okay, we're justified in not wanting to play. I mean, Brick said it himself. He's immature. He's doing things that are immature, and we don't see the practice and what's going on and team meetings and all that. And I assumed all last season he's not earning playing time. That's the problem. That's why he's not playing, because unless they were lying, they were really excited to get him on the team. Remember how fired up they were to draft him? So you're like that, and then you're not going to play him ever. So who knows? The whole thing was weird. If that was the only thing he did wrong, then it's stupid. That was it was a stupid mistake. He'll probably never do that again.
Yeah.
And if he does, well, then he is an idiot. But I'm pretty sure I've seen Deshaun Jackson do it a couple times. I think Jonathan Taylor did it last year. We've seen it. I mean, from a lot of good players.
Those are damn good players too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dane, and it's like you were saying, like an example, like if you fall off your bike, you don't just quit riding your bike. Like you have to like get back up on and try again, right? Like I remember the first car I ever owned. Like I was on my way to my 8 a.m. psychology class, and I just went off. I wasn't paying attention to the road. I was changing the song on an iPod, and and I went off the damn road and went through a damn telephone pole, and I would have ended up in a creek if there wasn't a random ass dirt pile. And I was just like a mile from my house. So I literally ran home to my dad to tell him what was going on and stuff like that. And then I ran back and got all the law stuff taken care of. The police showed up, all that. And we had to go take care of stuff and get some stuff taken care of afterwards. And so Dad's like, all right, well, let's go. And I'm like, okay. And he throws me the keys to his car. And I'm like, I don't know about that, And he said, no. He said, you have to. And I was like, okay. So, I did. And I drove that day, and I was a little nervous, but I did fine. And now I drive a big-ass freaking tractor trailer every damn day of my life. So That's just what I'm saying. Like, so you got to get back on the bike, man. And they fucked it up by not doing – they just gave him no snaps after that hardly. And that's like, come on, man. You have to take players' psyches into – evaluation there too. And who the hell cares? Like, we're losing. It was a losing season from like week 5 on. Why not give your young guys some play?
Facts.
And like Cougar Slayer said earlier, you fall off a cougar, you don't give up. You jump right back up.
Thrust. It's all in the hips. Guys, I got a couple quick hitters for you. Murph, that's a great point because, like, imagine driving with the New York market watching you too. Like, yeah, it's crazy. You gotta do it fast, and that's why in the second half we wanted him to get it. And they just shelved him, and it's ridiculous. Real quick though, we talked about the Bills. Any quick thoughts while we wind down here, guys? If you're here joining us late, hit the like button. We're here every Friday night. Former Jet, I should say, Elijah Moore, is now a Buffalo Bill. Thoughts?
Who cares?
Yeah, pretty much. Who cares? He's a talented kid, but he's never been enough to be like a wide receiver one, like something that we should truly worry about. Like, yeah, maybe he'll go and get 4 receptions for 52 yards against us, and when we play him,
yeah,
okay,
it wasn't like I went, damn it, when when that signing happens, like, all right.
I mean, we let the Bills make Mac Hollins into a Hall of Fame wide receiver against us twice last year. So, whatever. Who cares?
What I'll say is I think he'll fit in really good with Dalton Kincaid because you think both those guys are just going to dominate and then they'll just underachieve. So, he's in good company.
Another fantasy football heartbreaker last year. I was so stoked to get Dalton Kincaid, and he sucked.
Nope.
He didn't suck. They just didn't throw him the ball like they ended the whole year before doing.
You know what? That's a big thing with tight ends, and I do want to say that because Mason Taylor, people are gonna, dude. So much of a tight end's perceived success is how much you target them. Did Bowers, was he really a Hall of Famer last year? No, man. Most of his, until week 10, his average depth of target was 4 yards. Now, after week 10, he did blossom, but before that, it was dink and dunk and dink and dunk, and then it wound up having a great year. But, like, he got 100 targets. They had to ship off their wide receiver one for that to happen. I'm just saying, like,
They had
targets. Yeah, they had nobody else. Like, if you target a guy not at all, like you said with Kincaid, it's going to look bad, but that doesn't mean, if you target him 150 times, it's going to look good, but that also doesn't mean, fantasy is about volume, but like if Mason Taylor has 500 yards and just blocks like an animal, it's not a bad year by any stretch.
No, especially for a rookie in what we don't perceive is going to be a explosive passing offense.
Good point.
So
if Tyler Conklin got 125 targets last year, do you think he would have had over 1,000 yards?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Conklin's problem too, because until Tyrod came in, he was like invisible.
He had a couple good games. Like he'd get 2 targets, and then all of a sudden a big old, like, didn't he have a massive game against New England week 3, and then a little bit later in the year he had just out of nowhere another one?
See, and that we got to remember that when we're drafting a tight end this year. Like, go for the sure targets because that really makes all the difference. Quick hitter though, Chris brought it up. A name we got to at least briefly touch on. Tez Johnson is not a Jet. Thoughts?
Hey, he was a 7th round draft choice, wasn't he? No guarantee he makes that team. He was their 2nd receiver they drafted, and they already got some good ones. There's still hope, Dane. Whack, whack, whack.
Buccaneers, man. They led that draft grade list with an A. This is probably a small reason why. Murph, what do you think?
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about Tez Johnson, but I do have to say about the Buccaneers wide receiver group is they know how to bring them in, man. They because that receiver they drafted last year was popping off, and then they bring Godwin. I thought they were going to let Godwin go. They bring Godwin back, so they got Mike Evans, Godwin, and him, and then they drafted a guy, and then they drafted Tez Johnson on top of it, and I'm pretty sure there's another guy I'm forgetting that was pretty solid for them too. So man, they know what they're doing down there in Tampa Bay when it comes to wide receivers.
They had a rookie from Washington that stepped up towards the end of last year after Godwin got hurt.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm blanking out on his name. I can't remember what it is.
Huskies had three receivers get drafted off that team. Yeah, he was good. McMillan, of course. Chris, boom, nails it. Google.
He is Google. Google goes to him.
Yeah, Google calls him up. Hey, Chris.
Okay, one I have to ask you. What would you do if your hypothetical or real son cost you $100,000 and tarnished your name?
Well, I think I said it to you guys or somebody after that happened that we already know they don't hold the Jets ex staff, Brick included, don't hold people responsible for their actions. So he's probably just skating. No, I'm kidding about that. I'd be pissed. His ass would be in trouble. But he's 21 years old. I mean, he's a man.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not like you can spank him. I mean, what are we doing here?
Rick probably could. I don't think my dad could have handled me when I was 21. But get the fuck out of the house. What are you doing? So
Yeah, whatever loans I have out on, like if I bought him a car or something like that, that car's mine. You're going to have to figure it out, kid.
yeah,
And we're going to sit down and have a real long discussion about how a person should act and things like consequences and things like that, because he needs to learn that he's a young adult and he needs to know that before he's in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
yeah.
In a league that prides, like, it's all about networking and image and shit, like that could be more than 100K damage done. He's lucky, man, because they suspend him and that's game checks and shit. At minimum, that kid's paying me back. I don't care if it's 10% of his salary for 20 years. He's paying me back. And that's not even enough. He's also being disciplined and all that shit. But, like, the monetary aspect, I'm sorry, bro. Like, you didn't just take it. You also showed your friends, let your friends do that, had them record, like the whole, like this could have been stopped at 12 different stages and it didn't. It went all the way.
That was a $350,000 prank.
Indeed it was. And
he stole that information from his dad's
iPad
to be private. So I bet the Falcons are freaking pissed too.
And we didn't even touch on, like, you also harmed someone else, like, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe it was psychological harm, but it was harm.
There were people celebrating what was going on with Shador. And that was just rubbing salt in the wound.
Yeah. Yeah, that was low down dirty, man. Like, clearly a kid not thinking about anything but his own I don't know, humor, I guess, if he found it humorous. But yeah, it was messed up, man. And Ulbrich, dude, keep a lock on your damn iPad. Like, get your shit together. Yeah. Don't leave that stuff laying around when you have visitors at the house. Like, that's sensitive information. People's contact numbers and stuff. Like,
yeah,
yeah. I don't think he's 100% absolved of this either.
I would have never disrespected my dad in that way. And he told me stuff that he didn't need to tell me. You can't talk about this in public. And I never did. It's not NFL, but it was major college football. I knew stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. But if I'd ever done anything like that, he'd have never told me anything again. I wouldn't have been privileged to anything after that, as this kid probably shouldn't be now.
But also, you just knew better. Like, it was instilled in you from birth. He didn't have, like,
right.
And that's the thing. Like, I would have known, like, the gravity of that information. Well, for one, I wouldn't ever save. The kids obviously wrote down the info or screenshotted it and then carried it. And, like, hey, look what I got. I don't know how that all went down, but just massive mistakes were med.
Well, Dane, you nailed it. I was never a douchebag. No. Hey, 21-year-olds these days, not that they all are, but there's a lot of douchebaggery amongst that age group nowadays.
Side effect of being too bricked up, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. You'd think, I mean, well, I would have thought before I saw Brick as a head coach that, this guy ain't going to take any shit. And that was even when they fired Saul, I thought, okay, good. Things are going to change. Players are going to be held responsible now for their actions. Nothing changed. It was the same old thing. And maybe that's how he raises his kids also. I don't know. But yeah, just a douchebag move, no doubt.
I think that about does it. I know I gotta hit the loo. Guys, I think we pretty much, yeah, the chat's still firing off about Albrick's son, Jax, I believe his name is, as well as Brick Johnson. You know, just this generation's built different, and I can't say it's for the better.
There's bricks all over the place.
Bricks all over. You are right, man.
Bricks. I mean, you name it. It's everywhere tonight.
It's not just that generation, though. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's dad being a douchebag. You know, just a bunch of people. There's just no couth. I don't know, man.
And that's a different thing there, of course, too. But yeah, that still is pretty cheesy.
Yeah. I think we've said it all. If there's anything we didn't hit, guys, we're here next Friday. We still have a big name guest on the horizon. It could be next Friday. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button, of course, but we care more. Subscribe. You'll be notified. We're not going to saturate your feed. Maybe two videos a week maybe is the most you'll see me come out with. This, the live stream, and then maybe a short or a side video. But I like when these guys are with me, and you can tell why. We vibe pretty well, and I think that's it, unless you guys have any parting wisdom.
I'll save the wisdom for next week.
Oh, you meant us. I thought you might have meant the chat there.
Well, they've been dropping wisdom all day.
Real.
Anyways, thanks for joining us. Hey, let's hit the outro, I guess, on the way out, and that'll let some people chat a little bit longer if they want. I see some love in the chat. Love you guys too. Hey, Scott from Daniel Murph, from Dano. You've survived a week in the danger zone. We'll see you next week.
I love the show. I love you guys. Fucking, let's go Jets. Jets, Jets.
Can't all be beautiful.
You're in the danger zone.